to set up a free quote from Tommy's Windows, and of course, go Tigers.
Go Tommy's.
I'm here with former Tiger and attorney Chris Perrett.
Gordy, one area of the game often overlooked is special teams. Having the best special teams players can often be the difference between victory and defeat.
Now, Chris, how does this relate to hiring the right attorney?
Just like on the football field, you want an attorney who has the special skills and experience to obtain victory. For more than 20 years, I've been fighting for my clients in courtrooms all across Louisiana. Whether you have been injured in an accident or arrested and need to defend your rights, you want a Tiger on your team.
Chris, how can people find you?
Call me, attorney Chris Perrett. The law offices of O.C. Brown in Baton Rouge, 343-1111.
343-1111.
Custom Colors of Baton Rouge is Baton Rouge's friendliest body and paint shop and is the area's only certified BMW shop. Billy Rapp and Pete McKnight have been serving Baton Rouge since 1987.
Test.
Conveniently located in Industrial Plex off Siegen and Airline. Custom Colors Body and Paint.
Insurance companies have teams of professionals to fight your claim. If you want to know what your case is really worth, I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7970.
WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Good morning. It's 7 a.m. here on Thursday, September 12th. Today in Baton Rouge, you can expect cloudy skies with a high of 85. We here at Off the Bench hope that everyone made it through Hurricane Francine safe and sound. In hour one of today's show, we'll talk some LSU football injury report as they head to South Carolina to take on the South Carolina Gamecocks this weekend. And we'll also take a deeper dive into Saints-Cowboys on Sunday. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN. And watch us on YouTube at the 104.5 ESPN channel. Hour number one of Off the Bench starts now.
Let's go, baby, let's go.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
They said I gotta come off the bench.
Now, here's Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome into a brand new OTB Thursday, September 12th, 2024. I am T-Bob Hebert. He is Jake Hester. Today is the last show that we will be doing on remote. I'll be back tomorrow. Alondra and Taylor still holding it down back in studio. Huge thanks to them. And it appears I'm not there, right? But from everybody I've talked to, from what I've read, thankfully, it appears that we have made it through this storm, avoiding too much bad, I guess, is maybe the best way to say it. I haven't read about any loss of life. Certainly, there's been fallen trees, there's been people injured, but nothing major. Which is what and always in these situations, you want to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And it seems like on that scale, we've maybe trended a bit more towards the latter. So that is good to hear. Hope this morning finds everyone doing well, in good spirits. Jake, what's up, man? How are you feeling today?
Doing good. Yeah, a ton of rain, a ton of wind, nothing too bad, thankfully. And those are the things that you want. Like, it's coming, something's going to happen, but certainly you don't want devastation. You don't want it to be a situation where people are losing their homes or anything. So I'm like you. I haven't heard anything too bad. Now, there's certainly been some damage, but it does sound like, it wasn't the storm maybe that we thought it was going to be, which is always a good thing to hear.
Yeah, you never want any lost life. Again, I haven't read anything about that. So here's to hope that everyone is making out quite well. All right, so on today's show, guys, we're going to look forward to this weekend of football. LSU going to take on South Carolina. College game day going to be there. We broke down the game a lot yesterday as well after watching some film, and I got this thing pretty evenly scored on the scorecard going into it. It's strength on strength, it's weakness on weakness. We'll talk Saints-Cowboys, maybe what will be the most important matchup on the entire field. If you're a Saints fan who wants to make fun of the Falcons, There's a mounting pile of evidence that should immediately be very concerning if I was an Atlanta Falcons fan. I want to talk about who are the true college football championship contenders this year. Maybe get into who are fraudulent, who's on fraud watch, right? I've got some fun facts. We got Thursday night college ball as well tonight to get to. We got big deal or no big deal. We got Munchies, and we got Tay-Tay's NFL story of the day. So going to be a great Thursday, guys, hanging out with you here. As always, you want to support the show. Easy way you can do that. Just listening, really. But if you're watching on YouTube, just hit the like button, subscribe, and share with all your friends at the local library or bar, wherever it is that you like to hang out. For now, let's go ahead and get this thing started.
Tiger Labor and Staffing, where they can help take care of screening, training, payroll, and more. Now, for starters.
I'm guessing the sound is done. Shout out Tiger Labor and Staffing, your employment experts, man. If you need somebody for the job, you need them today. You go to Tiger Labor Staffing, the local guys, they're turnkey, man. They handle all the paperwork. They handle everything. All they do is make sure that you find the right person for the job. And it could be one day, it could be a week. Maybe it ends up being a career, however long, right? The bottom line is whether you are looking for people to work or you are looking for work, Tiger Labor and Staffing is your answer. All right, Jake. So a quick thought here on LSU, South Carolina. I'm looking at the LSU injury report, and it's a bit disheartening, right? It just kind of shows how an already kind of questionable season here in the beginning can be reinforced by what you could say, arguably bad luck. Some would say, I don't know, injuries are weird. Like, okay, so John Emery Jr. already out for the year. You got Prince of Malbur who's out for this game. Kobe Roberts, Jake Ibieta, CJ Jackson, Jacoby Guillory out for this game. Chris Hilton Jr. still questionable. Jordan Allen now questionable. Kyle Parker still questionable. Deshaun Womack now questionable. West Weeks questionable. And Garrett Dellinger probable. And it's not exactly the injury report that you want to see when in many ways, I feel like the season is on the line for this team. As we said yesterday, what is the truth of this LSU team? Are they more of the USC, the team that battled USC to the very end and arguably should have won that game? Or are they more of the muddied mess that it looked like against Nichols? And so with so much hanging in the balance, not exactly ideal to be down this many bodies.
So, yeah, a couple of those, you're going to be without, they're going to be, out for the year. It doesn't make it easier. You still, you expect that. There's a couple on there like Jordan Allen. That could be huge. That's somebody that plays a position where you're not deep and you need bodies. Now, depending on some position changes, maybe you add a body, which I know we'll get into to the safety rotation. Wes Weeks is somebody that's played a ton of football as well. Like if he couldn't go, like getting Dellinger back does seem like that's going to be obviously an added benefit. Although I thought Adams played pretty well a week ago. So there's some names on there of guys that like Deshaun Womack, like that's somebody that you're, counting on coming in and giving you 10 to 12, snaps at edge rusher where he's trying to get after the quarterback. So which one of those names do you think, if they're not able to go, of the guys that we know have, some chance of going, not obviously Jacoby and Guillory would be a name, but we know he's out. Which one do you think is the most impactful?
It's Chris Hilton. And maybe not the most, maybe Allen's most impactful. I don't know. That could be,
because I mean, for me, like it's not Hilton because of Anderson and Thomas stepping up. And I know Chris Hilton's different. I know that. I know he's a guy that nobody else has that type of speed going down the sideline, but I think the emergence of those two guys has been huge for, missing a guy that you were counting on like Hilton.
So I say Hilton simply because I guess I'm not answering the question exactly as asked, because like I said, right, it's maybe not the most impactful, but it is the most symbolic of how this year has gone so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is supposed to be year 3 for Brian Kelly. This is supposed to be the year in which he breaks out. I mean, he very much set the stage for that. Last year, he kind of pushed off all the year 2 expectations, talked about year 3, and then he opened up his SEC Media Days press conference this year, speaking about how everywhere that I've been, there's been a marked uptick in the 3rd year. In that same way, this was supposed to be Chris Hilton's breakout year. We had seen the flashes.
Yeah.
He definitely had moments last year, but this was going to be the time. Now, the couple of first rounders gone, he was going to step into the spotlight, and he was going to be the guy. So it's been a very disappointing year for LSU thus far. It's been a very disappointing year for Chris Hilton thus far. And really, Jake, I keep thinking about this year 3 thing. And again, not because, again, I'm going to enjoy every game, like I said, individually for the football itself. You know, there's no checking out on this team, but there is so much on the line in this South Carolina game. In fact, kind of how this year 3 is going to go is all on the line. And so by extension, how the LSU fan base feels about Brian Kelly is on the line. If you don't win this Saturday, again, it's not like there's going to be any changes made, whatever. We know that we're married, right? We got to figure this relationship out. But if you don't win this Saturday, you're not going to really have too many people giving you the benefit of the doubt anymore. You're not really going to have too many people believing that you are the guy or you are capable anymore, which whatever. Brian Kelly probably doesn't care because again, his job safety, his time, they're recruiting well. Like he'll have the opportunity to prove them wrong in the end. But in terms of like LSU fans standing behind the current regime, if you don't beat South Carolina, that noise is going to increase exponentially.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that. I mean, you're exactly right. It's a game that in the preseason, you almost hand waved. You're like, oh, on the road in the SEC, but now look, we got to look at, Ole Miss and Alabama and Oklahoma and all and at A&M, and you didn't talk about South Carolina because it's a game that you thought, yeah, we're going to go up there and we're going to win the football game if you're an LSU fan. So I agree with you. If you don't win this one, I think the conversation, the narrative, all that changes. Now, again, nothing will happen, nothing will come of it because you are married to Brian Kelly, but this is one you have because like if you went into the Alabama game and you were 6-2, right? But your losses were to USC and let's say a close game against Ole Miss, that feels completely different than if you were 6-2 and one of your losses is against South Carolina and then USC. Like even if you beat Ole Miss, like it just feels like I don't even know if beating Ole Miss could make up for you losing to South Carolina as far as some of the outside noise.
I would if that happened, I would actually think that people would be happy because
they'd be happy, but you would have a fraction that would be like, you can't even beat South Carolina.
In the same way that they were mad that you had Jaden Daniels win a Heisman last year, but you didn't have a defense to complement him. Like on the whole, you're happy, but there is some lurking frustration in the back. I think if you beat Ole Miss, that does represent a bit of a get out of jail free card for whatever has happened before, especially if you're 6-2 going into that Bama game. Unfortunately, if you lose to South Carolina, I don't know how to craft a world where I could pick you to beat Ole Miss. Like that would be a massive upset, which admittedly we've seen. We have seen. Yeah.
Even at Arkansas and at A&M, those feel – A&M doesn't feel different. Now, we'll see what A&M is against a bad Florida team this week, but Arkansas on the road sure feels different.
Taylor Green against what we've seen out of this defense thus far, it feels like that guy could have a lot of success, right? So
him and Jackson in the backfield, yeah.
It's pretty precarious right now. And I want to be clear, when I say married to Brian Kelly, I don't want that to be misconstrued as a negative. Well, my expectations have certainly taken a pretty marked step back for this year. Sometimes, I'm willing to accept that a lot of things can kind of go wrong, but maybe not be indicative of the overall quality of a process or a coach or a hire. And so I think it's not the worst thing here that you're almost not allowed to be reactive. Like if this year really does go south, I don't think it's the worst thing that you can't be too reactive and that you have to stick with it, because I do believe I still maintain this will bear fruit in the end. I am certainly very disappointed with how this year's had started. I'm disappointed with the failure to address a lot of the personnel issues defensively. But again, to show you the margins in football, you beat USC and none of these conversations are happening, right? And you were very close to doing so. So the bottom line is you control your destiny. Go win this Saturday on the road in South Carolina, kind of stabilize a bit. Feels like you're almost bleeding out a little bit on the trauma. Let's just stabilize a bit, like you did a couple of years ago, and then figure it out going forward from here.
Our guy Dane inside the chat, Les Miles 2.0. Les won a natty and played for another one. I know that the entire time that he was there were certainly things that we could nitpick, but you win a natty and play for another one in a decade, period of time. In today's college football, is that a bad thing?
Now, but let's also just
how many? There's what, 3 or 4? 3 right now currently coaching that have won a natty. That's just saying. I'm just saying how hard it is. Let's not just act like it's.
There's Mac Brown,
Kirby,
Dabo Sweeney,
and Dabo.
Kirby. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
That's
because Jim Harbaugh's now with the Bush League Bolts.
Jimbo's gone.
Jimbo's with me.
The thing is, though, I will say this just in defense of that conversation, like, Les, obviously, I'm not taking away from the overall tenure because 2011 was 100% firmly his team that made a natty, right? But it is also undeniable that Les took over a Lamborghini and Kelly did take over a broken down jalopy. Like that is factual.
I mean, we were 04, the program. Yeah, the program was super stable for sure.
I know it was a rough year in 04, but y'all had dudes.
Yeah, but it was 3 years later also. Like, we were Les's team. I mean, us freshmen played for Coach Saban for sure, but
so we can call 07 Les's team as well. I'm just saying the situations they took over, I do believe were pretty extremely different.
Yeah, what BK took over was the lowest that I had seen the program since the 90s, the early 90s, when we were thrilled to make the Independence Bowl, like fired up to make the Independence Bowl. Like, it was a big deal to make it against Michigan State and, funny enough, Nick Saban. So, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I covered the Texas Bowl. I was on the sideline for that game when you had 38 scholarship players or 39, whatever that number was. That was the only time in my life I felt embarrassed being an LSU guy. Like, it was embarrassing. Like, the number of people you had, like what you had to do in that bowl game. Coaches were, basically 2 feet out the door for the most part. Shout out to Brad Davis for trying to hold it down during that bowl game. That was as bad as it possibly could be.
I mean, honestly, Chad's kind of saying this right now too. A lot of times sports works like this. Maybe Kelly's greatest enemy is actually the year one success. Finding Jarek Bernard-Converse, Mekhi Gardner, Greg Brooks, Fouché out of the portal, putting together a pretty salty secondary out of nowhere immediately next year that they haven't been able to replicate either last year or this year thus far. But by the way, okay, we're getting a little too big. I think this is my fault because I let us here. We're getting a little too big a conversation. The bottom line is you have to beat South Carolina this weekend, okay? They're exciting in some ways, but they are deeply flawed, and they still should not be as good as you. If you lose this game, I believe you will have gotten outcoached. You have a massive advantage at quarterback. It's strength on strength. Again, I cannot wait to watch these two tackles do battle with these two defensive ends. All right, coming up next here on OTB, let's talk a little New Orleans Saints as Saints fans. I've got some encouraging numbers for you and some numbers that you can, and some information that you can use to make fun of your Falcons friends. Keep it locked here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
Go to All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge, All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. Go there today. Well, look, if today, tomorrow, go there. Look, if you had some damage to your vehicle during the storm, you need a collision center, body shop, service center, you want to go into All-Star Toyota. Okay, it's right off Airline and Goodwood, very conveniently located no matter where you're at. It's free professional estimates. All makes and models are welcome. Excellent lines of communication. They got shuttle service, rental cars right there on site. Go to All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge, allstartoyotabatonrouge.com.
Go to the website to see what you can buy new, what you can lease, and of course, what you can rent. If you're going to watch the Tigers play this fall, one of the road trips they have coming up, you can go ahead, reserve that vehicle, rent it today, keep miles off your car. Maybe you need something bigger. Maybe you want something better on gas mileage. Whatever the case might be, call Miss Lisa Sessions today in the rental department, allstartoyotabatonrouge.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has back-to-school savings like $16,000 off 25 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $16,000 off. All new Bayou vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart.
.104.5 ESPN. T-Bob and Jake hanging out with you this morning. Alondra Taylor back holding it down in studio. Hope everybody made it through the storm okay last night and through today. The New Orleans Saints, how they ended up handling an early practice yesterday. Everybody then went home to their families, except for the coaches. The coaches actually stayed in the building, slept there overnight. I believe they are pushing today's practice back a little bit, but all the work should be able to get done. And then this weekend, they will travel to Dallas to take on Taylor's beloved Cowgirls. And Jake, when you start to talk about keys to this game, once again, we start with the injury report here. as Marshawn Lattimore misses practice yesterday with a kind of it says hamstring / hip on the actual report. Remember, we talked to Nick yesterday. It's a bit of a mysterious hamstring, not a ton known about it. This is critical because Marshawn Lattimore is someone who traditionally locks in for the big games. Like when he has struggled in his career, most of the time, it's against teams that maybe it's like LSU against Nichols, right? He's just maybe not taking that serious. They don't have like a great number one. He thinks he's going to have an easier matchup, and he just kind of gets caught with his pants down a little bit. When he goes against the best, he has an uncanny way of upping his play. And this week, if he plays, he'll get to square up with the NFL's second highest ever non-quarterback contract in history in CeeDee Lamb. Jake, how bad is it for the New Orleans Saints if Marshawn Lattimore can't play here?
Well, he's a great player. He does step up in the biggest moments, and we all know like him and Mike Evans going back and forth is some of the best TV that you can find. Whenever they match up against each other, you better be paying attention because something is going to happen. But this is why you draft Kool-Aid McKinstry in the second round, because it's gotten to a point where you can't trust Marshawn Lattimore to be on the football field. He's had too many small injuries that have started to add up. You don't take, in my opinion, a guy in the second round. Now, Kool-Aid's a really good player, justified second round pick. If he'd have been back into the first round pick, nobody would have complained. But where you are at the position, having Paulson and Debo already, having Alontae Taylor that certainly could play some corner, you go and you make this move because you're not sure about Marshawn Lattimore and how long he can stay healthy and if he's going to continue to miss games. And so that's why you drafted a guy like Kool-Aid McKinstry. So it feels like, and I don't know if you agree, the Saints kind of had a plan. If this happened, if he wasn't able to go out there, if he only played in 8 games, we at least have what we feel like is a first-round talent, even though we got him in the second round in Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Look at this, dude. See, this is why I came up to the lake. My grandma's here, my mom's mom. Shout out Mimi. She's helping take care of the kids during the show, and it's a true Manny hospitality.
Oh, man.
Look at this. Some biscuits with some roast, some leftover roast in between, dude. A fresh
That's 3-1 great. That is 3-1 great
delivered
right there.
to the bed. Shout out Mimi. I love you. You're the best. I'm having flashbacks of my childhood. So sweet. I said I wasn't going to eat this morning, too, because all I did was eat yesterday.
Yeah, that's over.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap.
Hey, you made it to 7:26.
Here's to hoping that Marshawn Lattimore playing is not a wrap. Even though you do raise a good point, it's not like this is not a situation the Saints are not used to. So maybe it's not quite as impactful as it would appear to be on the surface because they've been dealing with this the last couple of years. I can't exactly remember if Lattimore was around for the 21 game. But I looked it up. CeeDee Lamb, 7 catches for 89 yards and 13 targets back in 2021 against the New Orleans Saints. So definitely something to keep an eye on going forward this Sunday is whether or not Lattimore is available. How about this? One of the other matchups. So on Saturday, we told you to watch the defensive ends against the tackles. And, well, on Sunday, that's obviously going to be huge as well with Marcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons going against Fuanga and Penning. But how about this, dude? Penning, I found this on New Orleans Football. Here's Penning's career numbers in games, how many pressures he's given up per game when he's had to when he's had to pass protect more than 5 plays in a game. 2023, week 1, 7 pressures. Week 2, 4 pressures. Week 3, 3 pressures. Week 4, 6 pressures. Week 5, 4 pressures. Week 6, 10 pressures. Then he gets benched, right? Only gave up 1 pressure last week. By far the best game that he's ever had. And again, we're continuing with this theme of scheme, putting players in a position to succeed. It should come as no surprise then, Jake, that within that great offensive performance, the Saints only ran 5 true drop back plays where the tackles didn't have some form of help. So Kubiak very much through game 1 doing a really good job of scheming around those weaknesses.
Yeah, because you have to, and saying it and doing it's two different things. And so you're, glad if you're a Saints fan that you saw the offensive coordinator realize, hey, we are deficient over there at right tackle. Like, we have got to help him out by scheme, by help, by whatever it is, because we can't just drop back and throw the football. Like you can't do that because of everything you just laid out there, because that's where they struggle. But now that's okay. There's some teams across the league that are going to continue to do that all season long. The only question and concern you would have is like Shaq Thompson and Jadeveon Clowney are good, but like Clowney's on the other side of his career, and Shaq Thompson's a good player. He ain't Micah Parsons, and he ain't Dexter Lawrence, and so like that's.
I said DeMarcus Lawrence.
Like that's what's going to be the key to the game, right? Is those players that are really good edge rushers, they watch tape, they've seen on film. What are they going to come up with to try to combat what you've been doing or what you did in week number 1? Because Micah Parsons is a guy that maybe more than any defensive player in the NFL can affect the game just by being out there. What I mean by that is this entire week, the Saints, and you know this, T, the Saints offensive line and their quarterbacks and their backs, they're all, and tight ends, they're having meetings that they probably didn't have last week, trying to figure out how they declare Micah Parsons in the count. Yeah. Is he always going to be down? Is he going to be, if he's standing up, he's, maybe back into the running backs count? If he stands up and walks around, it's like, hey, forget it, 11, you're always down. And what we mean by that is if he's down, the offensive line always handles him. He's never on a back, but they do so many different things with him because they know he's a cheat code. They're trying to mess up your count. They're trying to get him in a position where he ends up on a mismatch. I mean, he goes against guards and centers a lot. Like he finds himself inside the A and B gaps just, by him walking around, and it's down and around, and all of a sudden here comes number 11 like a bat out of hell. So they're going to have a plan. And the Saints have to make sure that they counter whatever that is, because Parsons is just different than anybody in the league. And if I'm the Cowboys, I feel like I have the advantage, and I got to be creative in what we do with him.
Yeah, and I want to be clear. I don't expect Penny and Fuanga to play as well as they did on Sunday. I don't expect them to play good. I guess the question is, can you be good enough on the road, hostile environment? Gonna have to be going on silent. It's a huge uphill battle for the New Orleans Saints. But again, through week 1, some pretty good scheme, and I'll be very interested to see how Kubiak tries to counter their counters. And to your point, I'll never forget my old man talking about John Randall, the old Vikings D tackle back in the day.
Yeah, psycho in the best way possible.
Yeah, pass pro was simply slide to John Randall's side.
Yeah.
Wherever he's at, that's what we're doing. And we'll figure out the rest. All right. When we get back, got a couple more thoughts on this Saints-Cowboys game. And again, it's always, winning is nice. It's always excellent when your enemies lose. And things could get worse for the Atlanta Falcons before they get better. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
Remember, every day here on Off the Bench, we are proud to be brought to you by Trash Rangers, okay? Your local waste management experts, and storm cleanup is cranking up, okay? If you need roll-off dumpsters, 15-yard dumpsters, 20-yard, 30-yard dumpsters, we got you at Trash Rangers, okay? They are available for you. Just go to trashrangers.com, find them on Facebook, or call 225-363-9053. All your roll-off dumpsters to clean up the mess that has been made. You want Trash Rangers.
Yeah, and so if you go to the website, trashrangers.com, it's going to kind of give you an update of what they've got going on as far as when they're going to be able to pick up your trash. So if your pickup was today, that pickup will actually be on Friday. And if your pickup is tomorrow, that will actually be on Saturday. So just a day behind on their pickup, and you can go to their website, find more information. Again, it has exactly when to put your cans out there, when that will be. Just another great service, a local kind of service you're going to get from Trash Rangers, trashrangers.com.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Welcome back to Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome back to OTB here on 104.5 ESPN. Breaking down this weekend's games, LSU, South Carolina, and, of course, your New Orleans Saints going against the Cowgirls. It's Jason in the chat says, T-Bob doesn't believe in this team at all, talking about LSU. That's not the case. That's not the case. That's not the case. It's not that I don't believe in them at all. It's just that before the season, we had a few tiers in the SEC that we had defined. You had your top tier, which is kind of your Texas, Georgia. I probably put Alabama in there. Jake did not. And then you had your kind of other teams that would be vying for the playoffs, right? Tennessee, Mizzou, LSU, and we had the conversations. Okay, out of that Ole Miss, whatever, out of that group, who's maybe the most suspect going in? And credit to us, I think we actually landed on objectively probably LSU, but we didn't know for sure, right? We still thought that it was any of those teams were capable of making the playoff.
Yeah,
I think why I maybe sound so disappointed, because again, everything's a function of expectations, is that through 2 weeks, Tennessee and Ole Miss have skyrocketed. Mizzou's been as perfect as you can be against a poor schedule, and LSU has lost and looked sloppy. So it just feels like those teams that I thought were grouped together, it doesn't feel today like you're on their level. Maybe you show massive improvement. Maybe this thing comes together. Maybe you are. Maybe these coaches impressed me the way they did week 1 against USC. Maybe. But just objectively, it just kind of feels like you're now out of that conversation. And again, now I need you to be better than the rest. Okay. Like, sure, if Ole Miss, Georgia, Texas, Alabama.
Yeah, how would you regroup it? How would you regroup it if you broke it into 3 tiers of, actual contenders?
I would go Georgia, Texas 1 at the top. In tier 1. Tier 2, I would go Alabama, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Mizzou. And then it's just the rest of the SEC in tier 3.
And then maybe like if you had another tier of actual teams that could, LSU, Oklahoma, together.
Nah, I mean, I wouldn't put Oklahoma in there. I don't think right now. I'm not putting Oklahoma above anybody in the SEC right now.
I just kind of mean like a third tier because like Florida's out of that tier, Kentucky's out. Auburn's certainly out.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Okay,
I mean, like getting rid of those.
Yes. If you want to cut teams and see who's still standing, who's remaining, yeah, you could put LSU, Oklahoma. I'll give A&M still standing status for now. They obviously have to win in the Swamp.
South Carolina, I guess.
South Carolina for sure, right? Vandy? No, I mean, I still don't think I'd put Vandy.
Maybe
technically they are. So Jace, I don't mean to sound.
He's gonna be Jace.
No. That's the guy in chat who started this all off. By saying that, I'm saying no.
I was like, who's Jace?
Jace is a cat who I shared a birthday with in elementary school, and I only remember his name because we shared a birthday. But like, I don't mean to sound overly negative about this team. It's just that they weren't exactly thus far what I was expecting coming in. And so that's how I think I've arrived. Now I just need you to prove, though, again, this season, I want you to be better than the rest. I can accept that maybe you're not on those top teams levels, but I need you to be better than Kentucky, South Carolina, A&M, Vanderbilt, all those sorts of schools.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can't argue it right now because no matter who you put in the first 2 tiers, and I would probably throw a third, like Ole Miss got to play somebody before they get in there, but my God, they've looked really explosive and they look as advertised. Missouri has a big chance to maybe jump into the conversation with a win over a damn good Boston College team coming up this weekend. But yeah, I mean, how could you put them in the same category right now?
If anything, I would, now that I'm thinking about our thing that we just did, our tiers again, if anything, I would bump Tennessee up to tier 1 and go Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, and then in the next tier, Alabama, Ole Miss, Mizzou, and yeah, I think that would be it because Tennessee looks pretty, very legitimate. That was a complete dismantling of NC State. The fact that it's Nico's first year, I think may give them trouble in the biggest moments when it comes to winning a championship. But I'm pretty blown away with how well Heupel has built those offensive and defensive lines going into this season.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have Ole Miss and Tennessee kind of right there in the same category. They look damn good, and they look like they're built the right way. Like you mentioned, they do have an offense and defensive line. Certainly, that's something that held Ole Miss back in the past. Now, Ole Miss hasn't played anybody, and they won't play anybody for a while, and so that's why you got to give the nod to Tennessee. At least if NC State on paper was a ranked football team, and we'll see where NC State goes. But remember, Ole Miss is not going to play anybody for a long time. They're not going to
be able to
air quotes here, the toughest non-conference game this week at Wake Forest. So then they go Georgia Southern, Kentucky, South Carolina before they go to LSU.
Anytime your toughest game is on the CW,
It's a great point.
Ask T-Bob. Fawn says, there's no lineman. Do you like how Campbell and Jones are just squatted and straight back in the position and their stance on the line? Is it hindering them in their get off and attack on run plays? I got no problem with their stance. I think it's a very composed stance. It's very balanced. It's one of the reasons why they're such great pass blockers. Their get off out of a 2-point stance does leave a bit to be desired. And granted, it's harder to do than a 3-point stance, but go watch Texas because those guys are getting off just fine out of a 2-point stance. But I don't think it has anything to do with their stance themselves. They just, in run blocking, I don't know, they're so composed and never over their toes in pass blocking that it feels like in run blocking, they kind of have a hesitancy to maybe want to kind of be a bit over your skis and lean into the fire off a little bit more, which it's a delicate balance, because if you get too over, then you end up on the ground. But like, you got to have maybe they're kind of trying to root guys out as opposed to popping guys like immediately off. But we'll see, man. We'll see.
Like that is like a great old school point, because there was plays within our playbook when I was in San Diego where Norv wanted us in a 2-point stance at fullback, and I'm like, I'd really like to have these 3 fingers in the ground. Yeah. I'd really like to just because, like, you know, you're thinking about that almost more than you're thinking about going and blocking who you're supposed to, because you're like, it's different. Now they've probably grown up in it. They know that world. But there was some 20 personnel stuff where we would stay in a 2-point stance, and for me, I felt like at the fullback, it gave me a position. I was hiding behind the offensive line. I felt like I could kind of get my foot in the ground a little bit better, fire off a little bit better. A 2-point stance for me personally was not near as effective as a 3-point stance.
Which is weird, because it's not like you put a ton of weight on your fingers on the 3-point stance.
I know, but I felt like it was like I had my cleats in the ground a little bit better, because I did have my hand was like the kickstand. It wasn't a lot of weight on there, but it was just kind of there as a stabilizer.
All right, when we get back, I'll tell you why you can make fun of your Falcons fans at the local grocery store or library this weekend. Keep it locked here on 104.5 ESPN.
Off the bench.
Hey guys, I want to remind you to go to oakparkevents.com. That's Oak Park, PARC events.com, and book a consultation to check out 2 unique venues that we have over here at Oak Park. I'm talking about Oak Lodge and Park 73, which for over 2 decades have consistently provided great food, excellent service, personalized ambiance, right? Whatever it is, right? A wedding reception, social gaming, corporate meeting, party. It doesn't matter what it works. You work with our team, or what it is. You work with our team directly, and we customize it to your liking. And there's a ton of different venues within the venues to choose from as well. So let's talk about corporate events, because when it comes to them, versatility is key. You got numerous conference centers, meeting rooms, banquet halls, inside, outside gathering areas, networking breakfasts, luncheons. You want a Christmas party? You got a couple of dates left there. Meetings, all-day seminars, crawfish burls, company picnics, elegant dinners, and more. All at Oak Park. Go to oakparkevents.com today.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Lonely is the night when you find yourself alone. Your demons come to light, and your mind is not your own. Lonely is
What up, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. Wrapping up hour number 1 here in the program. 104.5 ESPN. Hit the like button if you're watching on YouTube, guys. So, yesterday, Jake, I told you about the Warren Sharp video with Kirk Cousins, right? Where it was pretty clear. Now, admittedly, I did say maybe the seed is being planted, so then I'm seeing it. But it appeared as if Cousins did not fully trust that repaired Achilles.
Right.
We now have mounting evidence as to that being the case. So that was a Warren Sharp video. Benjamin Solak does NFL breakdowns for ESPN. Does a very good job. You know, he's almost like one of those nerdy basketball guys, but he's just obsessed with football.
Yeah.
And he found some interesting numbers here because he looked at quarterback situations that look bad at week 1 and maybe what's like pump the brakes is fine and what's maybe legitimately concerning. He had the Falcons and legitimately concerning. So they lose 18-10 to the Steelers. Per next gen stats, the Falcons were in pistol or shotgun 96% of their snaps on Sunday. Of the 22 snaps from shotgun, they had 0 designed runs. Out of the 26 snaps out of pistol, they ran the ball 21 times, 81% of the time. So, like, some real, like he uses the word siloed, right? But like some very clear tells about what we're doing. So it says, now why were those tells so obvious? And he goes on to say, quote, if I had to guess, it's because Cousins' mobility is still drastically limited. Here's the other concerning stat from Next Gen. Cousins moved an average of 3.1 yards per dropback in this game, which is the least dropback movement he has had in a single game of his career by more than a full yard. So not just the least by 0.1, 0.2, we are talking about a full 25% reduction than the lowest amount of movement is in his entire career, the first game in which he's coming back from that Achilles.
Well, good thing they draft a quarterback in the first round in the top 10 then, right?
Which is funny because he, I guess he's someone, I didn't know this about him. He's someone who hated the pick. And he went on to say that in light of this, like the Penix pick does feel a bit more defensible and feels like it makes a bit more sense.
Yeah.
And when it rains, it pours because Atlanta loses week 1 to Pittsburgh, Jake. Guess who they have next? Philly. Guess who they have after that? Kansas City.
Yeah.
And out of the 247 teams that have started 0-3 since 1966, 6 of those teams have made the playoffs. So if you are a Falcons fan, this is a rough week as you are kind of coming to the realization that, oh my God, we're 1 week in and all of a sudden it feels like the entire year is potentially in peril here.
Yeah, that is a brutal start, and you were probably banking on starting out 1-0 going against the Steelers, who have issues of their own, and you don't. And now you're staring down a team that's got a lot of confidence. They got a new weapon in Saquon Barkley and the Eagles, and then we know what Kansas City is going to be. If you start 0-3, now a lot of people would point out probably the NFC South and be like, oh, you'll be fine. But no. Like, the Buccaneers looked legit. The Saints did in week 1 against a bad Panthers team. We know they got a lot to prove this weekend, and hopefully they can. But, like, I think the NFC South is going to be better. That you can't just start 0-3 and say, oh, we're fine, we're in the South. I mean, one of these teams, and it might be the Buccaneers, we'll see, will be way out ahead of you, and I don't think you can catch up. So, yeah, they've got problems for a team that probably felt like they were almost absolutely going to be 1-0. And now with what we're talking about here, your biggest free agent signing, not fully healthy, or at least not trusting what he was like when he was fully healthy. That's kind of danger zone territory if they lose to Philly.
T-Bot says, is it safe to say that Kirk Cousins' Achilles heel is his Achilles heel? Yeah, it appears like it. And yeah, man, nobody, it's why the Saints starting 1-0 has been so nice the last few years, is because 0-2 is terrifying enough statistically when you look at how teams bounce back. Like, and granted, it can get a bit warped because, generally if you start 0-2, you're probably not a good team. Yeah. Rare are the good teams who, for whatever reason, through scheduling or whatnot, like end up starting 0-2, right? But Atlanta really staring down a potential deep hole. They must beat Philly. And if you can't do that, then you're telling me you got to beat Kansas City? That just doesn't feel like that's going to happen. So, Saints fans, you want to make fun of Falcons fans? Just make fun of Kirk Cousins for not being able to move at all, and tell the Falcons. Actually, just tell the Falcons they're starting 0-3 and just tell them that their season's cooked already here on September 12th.
If they do start 0-3, then you have games. Now, both these games, I believe, are at home, but then you have games against the Saints and Bucks. So, I mean, like, you got to do it within division, too.
You may split that, right? You may split that. You're not winning both those games, I wouldn't imagine. So you'd be looking at 1-4 if you started with, not a good day to be a Falcons fan. All right, coming up next hour, I want to talk a little more LSU, South Carolina. Then I want to get into college football as a whole. Keep it locked here on OTB.
Off the bench.
Go to AccuTemp of Baton Rouge, AccuTempBR.com, AccuTempBR.com. They are your AC, heating, and electrical experts. You know you get that service to the highest degree. Go look at the online reviews. There's a reason why they are so astoundingly high. But check it out. For the future, you want to get that whole home generator so you don't have to be worried about losing power. I mean, honestly, that's why I left, right? Because I was worried about losing power. You want to get that whole home generator, you go to AgTemp. They give you a free estimate. They come into your home, let you know exactly how it all works, and you work with the best. AgTemp Baton Rouge, AgTempBR.com.
Yeah, when you go to the website, remember you can schedule your appointment, and the best part about it is you're going to know exactly who is coming into your home, right? Even if, maybe your spouse is at the house, well, you can send it to them. They're going to send it to them as well, and you're going to know exactly who is coming into your home, someone you can trust, somebody that is an expert in their field. Go to the website today, agtempbr.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has back-to-school savings like $16,000 off 25 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $16,000 off. All new Bayou vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri.
Good morning. It's 8 a.m. here on Thursday, September 12th. Today in Baton Rouge, you can expect cloudy skies with a high of 86. In hour 2 of today's show, we'll continue our discussion of LSU versus South Carolina, as that matchup is coming up on Saturday, and we'll talk college football from a national perspective as well. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN and watch us on YouTube at the 104.5 ESPN channel. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Hey, they said I gotta come off the bench.
Now, here's Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome in hour number 2 of OTB, and I gotta say, this roast on a biscuit is freaking delicious.
Yeah.
Oh my God. A little leftover roast on a biscuit. Haven't had it in years. Again, well worth breaking the fast for here. Absolutely delicious. Shout out Mimi. Grandmas are the best. Grandmas are the absolute best for sure. You know what else is good? And I'm tired of being hesitant about it. Rings of Power Season 2 is badass, guys. Okay? You know, we're inside all day yesterday. I watched a lot of it yesterday. Rings of Power Season 2 is good. No, I thought Season 1 was good. Season 2 is good as well. I'm still, again, I'm not saying full-throated recommendation. Like, I'm not saying that it's something that everybody's going to love. But I don't know how it could be possible. If you are a fan of fantasy, if you're a fan of incredible production values, I do not see how you could sit down, watch Rings of Power, and not be pretty pumped up and not enjoy yourself. So, suck it, nerds. Rings of Power is awesome.
I haven't watched it, but I hear you and Bobby talk about it often, and it does sound awesome. It sounds great. And I know y'all are both big fans of Lord of the Rings, like I am. Haven't gotten to Rings of Power, but if y'all give it a, endorsement, that's going to go a long way with me, T.
I mean, look at chat. There's a lot of yeses in here. Normally, mention Rings of Power, it's a lot of hate. I think the second season, though, especially has taken a has taken a step forward, and it's been nice to see. What has been true through both seasons, again, you can see the $2 billion that they put into this show. Like
$2 billion?
Yeah. The production values are out of control. And you know, even though I think there are many movies that look pretty but are awful, at the same time, I can get sucked into an awful movie that is pretty. Like I like Zack Snyder's Sucker Punch. Objectively, it's a pretty bad movie with not a lot of story or plot or anything going on. But what it does have is like badass mech samurais wielding chain guns, fighting schoolgirls with samurai swords, and it looks cool, you know? And so like, yeah, I can get sucked into something dumb just because it looks awesome. I think this is better than that, and it looks awesome. Anyway, I had to get that off my chest. Just too many Rings of Powers haters, of which there are many out there making way too much noise online. Too many people politicizing everything around the show. It's season 2 is very good. I agree. I don't agree. I just wanted to say that. All right. Coming up on this hour, LSU, South Carolina. Jake, I was asked online for a score prediction. I said 31-27 LSU. I still think LSU is better here. I think when I look at a couple of the touchdowns that South Carolina scored, especially the two Lenoris Sellers touchdown throws, I thought those were very interestingly designed plays. And it leads me to believe that, like, I see South Carolina creating a bust or two against LSU in this game to be able to score. But in the end, I just believe that the quarterback gap between Garrett Nussmeier and Lenore Sellers is enough. And Garrett has been so good thus far this year. And who knows, maybe he'll just get better and better, right?
Yeah.
I feel like the quarterback gap, even on the road, is going to be too much for the Cox to overcome.
Yeah, if I'm LSU, I go into this game and I dare Sellers to have to throw the football, and that'd be the reason why I go down. Like I would, you know, I would put more people towards the line of scrimmage. I would play, you know, aggressive coverages, and I know that that's not exactly your strongest suit right now, but I would do it because Rocket Sanders and Sellers on the ground, and whoever, if Robbie Ashford comes in, I was waiting for you to. Robbie
Ashford. Sorry, I was reading about somebody. Fonz was talking about the weather in the chat, and I guess I hadn't really thought about that. Wind, rain, that probably plays into South Carolina's hands a little bit, but Robbie Ashford.
Thank you. That probably does. I mean, to your point, because they're not dynamic right now throwing the football. And something that they've always had is a dude at receiver. Now, Nick Harbor is a physical freak, but not as polished as they've had in the past. And they've had Juice Wells, and they've had
Xavier Legette last year, dude.
Yeah, who was a first-round pick. And I'm trying to think going back.
A top 5 country accent.
I mean, top
Xavier
3
Legette.
maybe.
Yeah, if you have not heard Xavier Legette talk, and I believe it's Xavier, so excuse me, but if you have not heard an Xavier Legette interview, I can't even do the impression. That's how country it is. It's a country that I'm not entirely familiar with. That South Carolina, that deep South Carolina twang, but it's funky, man.
Yeah, think Will Campbell, but even more country.
Yeah,
believe it or not.
Somehow. Yes.
But they don't have a player like that, and they've had that player for like at least the last 4 years. They've had, you know, even like Juice Wells going back after he got there, like he was that guy. So they don't have that. The weather conditions probably would favor them because I do still think Rocket Sanders is a really quality running back, and they've got the run game figured out more than you do right now. I know Brian Kelly mentioned that they got a chance to you know, have kind of a wet practice yesterday because it was raining when they were out there, and he said that was good because, you know, at least they got a wet ball drill in. I still don't think you change who you are. Like, you still, like LSU, you have to know thyself, and you right now, you can't line up and run the football on anybody and just say, we're going to run it. Like we thought maybe you could. You lose John Emery, the offensive line right now, and the concept aren't really matched up together the way you want it to be. that probably does, give South Carolina an advantage.
Well, it goes back to what we talked about yesterday. If you were South Carolina and you were game planning this game, you would prioritize coverage, right? And make them prove to you that they can run the ball effectively. And weather be damned on that front. Like, I'm not going to adjust my game plan solely on the weather. What I will do is play coverage, make them prove that they can run the ball effectively, and then adjust after that. LSU game planning South Carolina, is it the opposite, Jake? Like you're saying, where add the box, play man coverage, single high, be aggressive, and make Sellers prove that he can beat man coverage?
I mean, I would. Certainly if the conditions are bad. He hasn't done anything to show me that he can do it in dry conditions, right? Yeah. He's a talented guy, but he hasn't done it in the first couple of games. So, if you're LSU, do you trust your corners? I think Zay Alexander gives you more trust. Now you feel better about it because, Blake Baker played a lot of cover one a year ago at Mizzou. He had veteran corners. He had two guys that were Senior Bowl type guys. And so that gives you that ability. Well, now he's got his veteran player and Zay Alexander back. So could you be a little bit more aggressive and trusting them than you were in the first, couple of weeks? Although Zay Alexander played last week, I don't know if you were expecting him to play as much as he did, and he played really well. I think he was your highest graded defender. So I think that's the game plan for LSU. And if they beat you over the top, if they start to take those shots and they hit those, then you adjust to it. But I would rather that than have to adjust to getting gashed in the run game, because sometimes when you do that, and this as well as I do, that gives confidence to an offensive line and a running back, and they're just going to continue to feed the beast. And so I'd rather adjust to them trying to take shots over the top than just getting carved up in the run game.
Christopher Kissinger says, you think they're giving up 27 to South Carolina? They only gave up that much to USC. That's probably fair. Maybe I'm off. Maybe I'm off on 27. I don't know. That score just popped into my head, and I was like, okay, yeah, I think that sounds right. But I can see a couple busted plays where they get touchdowns, but even then, and T-Mouse says, we gave up 21 nickels, right? Yeah, so it's a mixed bag. I'm not
Guggenheim.
Sure. Googs, shout out Googs. So I think LSU wins on Saturday though. In Williams-Brice there. On Sunday, I loved week one from the New Orleans Saints. I'll be cheering my ass off for the Saints to win. I cannot grant them the rank of expecting a win going into Dallas. Dallas looked great week one. They've been the winningest regular season team over the last 3 years. There's enough elements at play there where I don't even think anybody can be mad at me or anything for that, right? Again, I just saying I think the Cowboys probably win, but I want to see two things. First, contextually, even if you lose, I want to see you grow in the areas that we saw this last game, build on some of those exciting debuts that you had. And yeah, I just don't want to see an abject disaster. Like I said, when it comes to the offensive line. This is going to be worse. I'm not even thinking if it's going to be good this week, but can it be good enough? And even if I good enough to win, good enough to keep it competitive and keep it interesting.
Yeah, you don't want to have a game where you give up 6 sacks. You want to have a game that's somewhat clean, not perfect, because last week kind of felt perfect. It was football utopia. Yeah. You scored basically every time you touched the football. So against the Cowboys, I think if you limit their pass rush, if you let's say you give up 2 sacks in the game, you run the ball efficiently like you did a week ago, and you kind of cut down on their big plays, and your defense keeps you in the game long enough, even if, and now, moral victories, I get that, but even if you lost a game, 21-17 on the road against a team that's got high playoff and Super Bowl odds, I think you'd still love the direction of the New Orleans Saints. Now, you want to go out there and win. Obviously, that's the obvious statement. But if you go out there, you play your butt off, and you lose 21-17, and the things that you're talking about, you only gave up 2 sacks, right? You didn't have a sack fumble. You didn't have maybe Derek Carr takes care of the football. You don't have an interception. It's something that still gives you that hope, that belief that things are different. Things have changed, and they have turned around, and you're going to be a force the entire season.
And
by the way, if the Chargers lose to the Panthers, I'm not coming to work on Monday.
Oh God. I mean, again, that does have classic NFL.
It does. I know.
But again, not with
Khakis.
not with
Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh. Sorry if I seem a bit distracted. I'm trying to find this report. Chat is saying, okay, here it is. It's LSU. I'll get there in a second. One promising stat when I talk about wanting to see the Saints build on stuff, Jake, last year, Alvin Kamara averaged 1.4 yards before contact per carry, right? That's very low. It resulted in a 3.9 yard per carry average. On Sunday, it was 2.7 yards. So is it any surprise that he averaged 5.5 a carry, or his best since 2020? And again, that's because the scheme was making everybody look a little bit better there. Anyway, build on that. Again, I don't expect the Saints to win, but it's the Cowgirls. You know, they're experts at blowing it when it matters. And quite frankly, they've been very good at losing to the Saints since their golden era. So here's to hoping that the Saints can continue that trend. So no, Matt C in the chat was saying that there's a rumor going around that Perkins will start at star and that Weeks and Penn will be your starting linebackers. Somebody else said, well, it was Lon Phillips, LSUodyssey.com reporting that. And this comes from 14 hours ago. Breaking from LSUodyssey.com, linebacker Harold Perkins Jr. has practiced at the star position in preparation for this Saturday, expected to move to that role at South Carolina. Lon is not always 100% right, but he gets a lot of this right. He does a really good job of working his sources. He's a bit of a renegade, so he could go with something maybe whereas some others would not. But I guess what I'm getting at is it's not necessarily 100% true, but it does make sense. Yeah. I mean, we arrived here independently of our own accord when talking about this game. And I mean, I think it was even in the AFRTs yesterday was Perkins moving to that star role. Wouldn't that be wild if for a second year in a row, you had this exact same thing happen where you spent an entire offseason training one thing only to flip it up and then switch to another. Yeah. But like, is that realistic? Can Perkins just like learn the star and just play it?
I mean, it's probably very similar to the nickel Sam position that he played. Now, the terminology, that would be my biggest question. Now, you do have a green dot on the football field now, so you have communication, so you can get a lot of things done that you couldn't in the past if you just, hey, tell Perk whatever the situation might be. That is a big help that you haven't had. So, look, I think he can get it done. I think last year, and you and I both agreed, it was his best position. He is right now, we've seen he's not an every down inside linebacker. We also know he's not an every down edge. And I know people like throw that out there, like just put him on the edge. You can at times, without question. His first step is incredible. It's one of the fastest I've ever seen. But
I think the South Carolina O-line is cheeks. I think they need to play on the edge in obvious passing downs this week.
In obvious passing downs. I'm glad you said that because people are like, just put him there full time. Guys, he's 220 pounds. You can't play edge full-time at 220 pounds, no matter how good you are. And he's great. But if you switch it up, if he plays that star role, and then you've got Major Burns, who when you want to put Perk on the edge, he comes right back in. He plays star on third downs. Perk goes to edge rusher, or, maybe it's a quarterback spy like we talked about. He's affecting the game from somewhere that's not inside linebacker, right? There is a place and there is a plan that you could put together a role where he plays, 3 different positions on one drive, but it's putting him in the best place for your team, right? Because just because you can't play inside linebacker every down, like you still have a unique skill set, and it's on the coaches and the coaching staff to come up with a scheme that puts him in the best position based off what the situation is. First down, second down, third down, whatever it might be. And again, you have the ability, hey, Perk, on this play, you're going to be here. Second down, we're going to give you a little signal, you're here. Third down, hey, get after the quarterback. Whatever it might be, that's where he has to be the best. If I know, and this is any player, not just Perkins, if I know where he's lining up every single play, I can neutralize him. because I can game plan in his position and where he's going to be and what I think he's going to do. If he lines up, let's say in 3 plays, right? He goes on first down, he's at the star position. And second down, he's kind of back in the middle, but he's really just a quarterback spy. And on third down, he's an edge rusher. That's 3 different places that I've got a game plan for 3 different players, basically. And so, like, that's what they need to do with Harold Perkins, in my opinion.
And it gets weeks on the field more.
Which
a linebacker.
That has to happen.
He's your best player at that position. So
he's the one that plays violently with his hands, gets off blocks, and when he's told to shoot the A gap, he shoots the A gap with everything that he's got.
It makes sense on multiple levels. We'll see if it comes to pass this weekend, or is it just rumor? All right, coming up next, let's ask the question. Who are the true college football national championship contenders? Who are the frauds? Who's on fraud watch? Give me your most surprising team thus far. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
Get Gordon and get it done. 225-888-8888. You need somebody who's going to stand up to the big insurance companies and get you what you deserve when you get in an accident. You want Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Guys, you go to getgordon.com and, you can fill out a consult right there. They'll get in touch with you immediately. You can see all the cases that they handle. You can see past results from satisfied customers, or just follow them on social media. Again, at Get Gordon, where you see a lot of great content about business, about life, a lot of great content with your favorite athletes. The G team, huge in the NIL game right now for LSU. Shout out Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Get Gordon, get it done.
You go to the website, Get Gordon, where T-Bob said it. You can do it all right there on the site. But remember, if you want to pick up the phone, you want to give them a call, it is your area code in Louisiana, followed by 888-8888. That's no matter where you're listening to us, Shreveport, Alexandria, Monroe, New Orleans, Lafayette, wherever you are listening, put that area code before the 8s. Go to the website today. That's getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
The best kept.
Welcome back to Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to OTB here on 104.5 ESPN. Great song choice, Alondra. Just some banging.
So you can hear
R&B. No doubt about it.
Oh,
here
you
on
can't
this
hear us.
R&B Thursday.
Oh, it is Thursday.
I'm sure it's great. The joke is, guys, of course, we can't actually hear back in the studio. We're testing out some new systems here. I like the system a lot. We just got to figure out a few little tweaks here or there. T-Bob Jake hanging out with you, though, and I want to talk some college football as a whole, Jake. I want to talk about true championship contenders. I have my list written down. I hope you haven't looked at it. You may have seen it. I'm not sure. Okay. I want to hear when I ask you. Not true. I'm not saying playoff contenders. I knew it wasn't R&B. LOL. I see the text. I didn't forget to search this. So now R&B. Okay. So
Yeah.
I want to know where your head's at. Not playoff contenders. True championship
Okay.
contenders.
All right. All
Teams that you believe could, because one thing that like S&P Plus and a lot of the analytics are showing us is that there's a few heavy teams, and then it's very muddled behind. Still a lot of movement from like teams 6 through 40, basically. So
Right.
who are your true championship contenders?
True championship contenders.
Championship.
Right. Certainly I'd throw, obvious one, throw Georgia out there.
Got to.
We'd throw Texas out there.
I would. Yes, I feel comfortable in that.
Okay. Ohio State would be there.
That's the easy. It was an easy big 2, and then Texas made sure that it was an easy big 3 with that Michigan win.
Okay. I think I put Ole Miss in there. I do.
Really?
I do.
Before you get to Tennessee, you put Ole Miss in there because I was
I do.
surprised that I put Tennessee in there so immediately, and I don't know that I actually put Ole Miss in mine quite yet.
I mean, I had Ole Miss playing in the SEC championship game before the season, and I haven't seen anything to change my mind or deter. Like, they look real good, and I know they haven't played anybody, but still, like, even T-Bob, if they were on air, which I mean they almost kind of are with who they've played, like, it's still going to be impressive. Like, what Jackson Dart is doing right now, like, he's leading the country in passing yards. He's got a 247.4 quarterback rating.
Pretty good.
He's completing, I think 87% of his passes right now.
Not bad.
87%.
87%.
87. He's 47 of 54 on the year. 87% completion percentage, 795 yards, 14.7 yards per attempt.
Good
six
God.
6 tutters, no interceptions, 247.4 quarterback rating.
And what does he run for this year? Because he's always got something going on with his legs as well. Let's see.
He's got
not much. He's got 2
He's got 2 a touchdown each game, but the sack yardage, which
sack,
is
still
dumb in college football. I don't know why we do that, but yeah, I mean, I honestly, T-Bob, I would put them into that conversation because I had them there before, and it doesn't make sense to take them out after Jackson Dart's playing like he does or is.
Yep, that's completely fair. Okay, so you have Ole Miss in there. Is something holding you back from putting Tennessee in there if you're putting Ole Miss in there? Or what would be the thing holding you back? Is it the youth of Iamaliava? Or Iamaliava? I went back to my old name, my bad.
You're fine. I mean, I think if you just go for it, that's half the battle there because so many people just saying Nico. No, I mean, it's not his youth. They're right there on the verge. They're on the edge of me fully giving myself over to them being a championship team. In fact, like I could add them and I wouldn't feel crazy about it. I think running the football was going to be the thing that I was like, okay, well, can they get that done? Can they run the football? You lost your top guys to the NFL. Now we know Josh Heupel wants to run the football, like that. That's no surprise. But could you get it done? Like Dylan Sampson, who's shout out Baton Rouge native, he's looked incredible. Like he looks like he might be even better than Jalen Wright was. Now he had Sampson had a pretty good year a year ago, but I thought Jalen Wright was a really undervalued running back, and I think he actually might be better.
Do you have Alabama on this list?
No.
Wow.
I don't.
Uh-oh. Bama is burning. Cue the
No,
music.
please
Jake, go
don't.
off.
Don't.
Go
Nope.
off, King.
Yeah. No, I am not going to, slam the table and turn all red about it. But I don't have them there right now. It's not to say they can't. I mean, I watched the coaches tape. I didn't see the TV copy. I was calling the LSU game, but I watched the coaches tape, and even on a coaches tape, it didn't feel like there was like this urgency and this juice and this. Like I expected them, and they ended up pulling away. But I thought they are going to be so pissed playing South Florida again from the very get-go. They are going to try to instill their dominance and their will upon their opponent, and I didn't see that. I don't know what it is. They're going to win a lot of games. They'll probably be 10-2, but championship, there's something missing right now for me for Alabama, and I can't exactly pinpoint it, but I don't see a championship team.
Do you put Miami on that list? Now, losing Ruben Bain, I'm not sure if it's for the season, is a massive blow. That's their incredible sophomore pass rusher that we hyped up all before the season, but they're still, they still have top 10 position groups at O-line, D-line, wide receiver, running back.
I'll
Cam
tell you.
Ward looks legit.
Yeah, I'll tell you on probably October the 12th.
Who do they got October 12th?
Their bye week is October the 12th. They're off at Cal on October the 5th. But I say that because we need to see just how bad Florida is, which we'll kind of get a test this weekend against A&M. Florida A&M, good FCS school, but FCS. Ball State, not going to learn anything this week either. At South Florida, okay, so that starts the process for me. Then you got
sports properties,
Then you got Virginia Tech at home, and then you go on the road to Cal. Those 3 games, I'm not saying it's the most difficult opponents, but I think you'll be able to find out, are they truly championship relevant based off those 3 games, because then they get into at Louisville, Florida State, Duke, at Georgia Tech. By the way, they end the season at Syracuse, which could be fascinating if Kyle McCord keeps playing like he is. But those 3 games, I think, are the thing that I need to see from Miami, because I'm willing to do it, but I'm not going to do it off of a very bad Florida team, Florida A&M, and Ball State.
All right, so still a tight grouping up top, very SEC heavy grouping as well. Hey, guys, go to K to Z window coverings, KTOZblinds.com, KTOZblinds.com. That's K to Z. And have Brandon Barton and the team out to your home today. And let's learn about your home a little bit, right? Because the depth to which the correct window coverings, blinds, drop-down exterior shading, honeycomb shades, the depth to which it can improve your quality of life, bring together your room aesthetically and functionally, you don't even realize how deep that rabbit hole goes. Within about 15 minutes of Brandon being at your house, you're going to basically have a crash master's course, and you're going to see what K to Z can offer you, why you should do it. Make your home the home you've always wanted it to be. It's football season. You want to grill and chill. Get some drop-down exterior shading to keep you cool, man. And take the glare off that TV, okay? Go to KTZ Winter Coverage, KTOZblinds.com. Jake, give me your biggest surprise team through 2 weeks of the college football season.
Yeah, real quick, Brent inside the chat's like, you won't give yourself over to Miami, but you will Ole Miss not playing anybody, because I had that preseason expectation for Ole Miss. So it had already been there, and they just solidified that, where I had questions about, if Miami was truly going to be that team.
And if I wanted to back up your point here, Cam Ward is still in year 1 of a transfer situation, whereas Jackson Dart's in year 3 under Lane Kiffin. And this success is still only 1 game really for Miami, and it's at a bad Florida team. And Ole Miss would have made a 12-team playoff last season. So, no, there's countless evidence points that we can use to say why Ole Miss should get more benefit of the doubt than Miami right now. All right, what's your biggest surprise team?
Biggest surprise team? Maybe you go USC. Maybe it would be USC because, I mean, gosh, they look good. First shutout in a long time, as you pointed out yesterday, because I'll go through some that are probably maybe – so that's crazy. Surprises for other people. Like, I was like high on Boston College because they were like picked 13th, I think, in like the preseason ACC. I'm like, y'all, they went to a bowl game and beat the American champs in that bowl game. And Castellanos is fantastic. And they got Bill O'Brien, and you think they're going to be worse than they were a year ago. So that's not a surprise to me. Louisville, maybe, because they, the roster looks so different. I don't know. I mean, maybe like in a negative way, there's some surprises, but in a positive way, like we kind of have everyone pretty much where we had them slotted in the preseason.
I'll say Syracuse. I mean, you just mentioned him. Fran Brown. I know there was hype in the offseason cover of Georgia. Great recruiter. I just didn't believe it. I know Kyle McCord was good on paper last year, but I thought it was like a Drew Aller good, good statistically, but could he really be that guy? Obviously he has been. I'm very excited to watch him the rest of the season. Syracuse football going to be super pumped up to have Fran Brown up there already starting to pay dividends. All right. When we get back, it looks like there may be some breaking news on the Pac-12. Keep it locked here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
Go to centralplumbing.org, 925-8552. Hopefully you made it through the storm with no problems whatsoever. But if you did run into any plumbing issues, remember, Central Plumbing is 24/7 emergency service. They got flat rate prices. They got over 50 years of experience. They got excellent warranty coverage. They're all licensed, bonded, and insured. They send you information ahead of time about who's coming into your home, and they've seen it all, so they can fix it all, okay? I don't care if it's commercial, residential. You got plumbing problems? There's only one answer, and it's Central Plumbing. Go to centralplumbing.org, 925-8552.
Yeah, go to the website today, see what they can do for you in the upgrade game. If you want to upgrade your situation at your home, at your business, they can come in and they can do that. Get a consultation set up. Like if you've got a big business, don't worry. They've got the fleet ready to go, as you see right there on the homepage. And if you've got a project at your house you've been wanting to get done for a long time, no matter if it's just one bathroom, if it's every bathroom in your home, they'll come in, do the same thing for you. Go to the website today. That's centralplumbing.org, centralplumbing.org.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
Hello, Kim Mulkey here. When I have construction and roofing needs, I call my friend Ryan Terrio and the Parish Construction and Roofing team. I sleep good at night because I know the Parish team has my back. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs. And remember, always do business with someone you know.
Parish Built from your hometown. Parishbuilt.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD.
Heck, OTB. Uh-oh, don't look now. I think they got their swagger back. The pack, back the pack. The pack is back. Either way, the Pac-12 is now up from the Pac-2 to the Pac-6. Breaking 9 hours ago, our guy Ross Dellinger, breaking Jake, Boise State, San Diego State, Fresno, and Colorado State applying for membership in the Pac-12. Damn, dude. So this whole time, the Mountain West, the Mountain West is like, okay, we'll kind of throw you a bone. You can kind of join us this year.
Yeah.
And in just classic backstabbing football, Game of Thrones, college football fashion, the Pac was just working contacts and decided to take 4 of the best schools from the Mountain West.
Yeah, and look, it makes sense. Like if there was any kind of takeover, like it would make sense to use the Pac-12 branding, right? And you can kind of build that back up, and we'll see like what the Mountain West and like maybe where they stand in all of this. Like it always made sense to me just to merge that conference with the 2 teams that were left over. If you want to leave somebody out, leave them out and just use the Pac-12 brand. But I mean, they're
Bring
taking
back Cal and Stanford, dude. Bring back Cal and Stanford.
Yeah, like hey
come
guys,
on.
we're sorry.
Like, come on, guys. This is really dumb. Everything got out of control. It escalated quickly. Let's just let bygones be bygones. Like, I don't need these West Coast teams ending up in these random Southern places. Let them continue to play on the West Coast.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. And so now it's because that would bring them, let's see, that would bring them up to 6 teams, and I believe 8 is the minimum that you have to have. And so, like, who else are you going to add now? Now, you went and got some of, if not like the biggest brands in the Mountain West. Now you still got to add 2 teams. But look, I know there's people out there. I saw Cannell and God, what's your guy's name? Other Florida State guy.
Bud Elliott.
Couldn't think of his name. Sorry. Thank you.
My guy.
They're just like mad at, conference realignment. Look, it already is what it is. Like if it saves the Pac-12, right? I'm all for it because there needs to be like, representation on the West Coast of like maybe another power conference. So who else can you add to, give it some juice and give it actually something that makes it worthy of being the Power 5 again?
Now let's pump the brakes up. Do we realistically think they could ever get back to being a Power 5?
I do.
With those
depending on what other moves you made. You don't think they could?
I think you would have to steal from other Power 4 conferences to get back to being a Power 5. Maybe you regain Arizona State. No, not really.
They feel like they're Big 12 teams, though. Like those two feel like
I agree. But Stanford and
Cal and
are
Stanford,
displaced.
no.
They need to go back to the Pac. Also, the Pac should start playing Wednesday night games, and so we can have Tuesday Maction and Wednesday Paction. If they want to just gain some early traction here.
Oh, look at you.
I know,
on a roll.
I'm just flowing, baby.
Hey, who you need to go add to this new Pac-12?
Wyoming. This is what somebody said in the chat. I don't hate that.
No. Go get North and South Dakota State.
Do they want to move up out of the FCS, though?
They need to. Go get both of those schools. In football only, sure. Doesn't have to be other sports. Go get those 2 schools that are great brands. Everybody recognizes those brands. You already get high-level football players. You're only going to get more. You're going to get more revenue. Why not?
To do this if I'm one of the Dakotas, though? You're no longer going to play for championships. Right now, I get to go to the playoffs every year. I get to have these semifinal, these final battles. Like,
You can go to the playoff too if you win the Pac-12.
I say keep that. I say keep it. I say keep your FBS. I'm pumped. I didn't realize this. Idaho is an FCS team.
Yeah. They went
I
back
didn't
a
realize
couple
they
of years
dropped
ago.
Back down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm not used to people making that move. And then
And you are a hoe, by the way.
And then they beat Wyoming this weekend. So technically, that's an FCS team beating an FBS team. How about that?
Yeah.
Big upset. It's an FCS team pushing Oregon to the limits.
Yeah. North Dakota State pushed Colorado to the limits.
Yeah.
South Dakota State didn't quite get that done against Oklahoma State, but
What do you? How about tonight? We got a tasty little Thursday night morsel night. Little
got a
Arizona
great
State
game.
versus Texas State. Kenny Dillingham trying to get some hype going in Tempe.
yeah, they're better than I thought they would be for sure. I didn't have any expectation for them, but like when we were doing like dark horse G5 playoff contenders on off campus, like Texas State was firmly in the conversation for me. They were really good a year ago. You go get, I think it was yesterday we talked about it. You go get James Madison's quarterback out of your own conference, and he was like one of the, was he first team or second team quarterback last year in the Sun Belt?
Probably because JMU was awesome.
Right.
I'm
And
not
so
sure.
you go steal him, and he thought he was probably going to do something different in the portal, whatever. Right. So that's your benefit. Yeah. Texas State, they very well could be potentially a G5 representative. And no matter what Arizona State does, like if you're Texas State, you go beat Arizona State, that's always going to live on your resume.
Yeah, and look, let's not look. Arizona State, I think, was picked to finish like 13th
Yeah.
in the Big 12, but here they sit 2-0, wins. Who'd they beat in game number 1? I'm trying to remember. Hold on. They beat Wyoming.
Wyoming,
Smoked Wyoming, and then they beat Mississippi State. Like
Yeah.
maybe Kenny Dillingham has something cooking after a rough year 1. It remains to be seen, but you were right about that when you said it yesterday. I'm excited for tonight's game for sure. All right. When we get back here on OTB, let's close out hour number 2.
Off the bench.
Go to Community Steel Company, communitysteelco.com, communitysteelco.com. You go to Community Steel Company today, and, look, man, they got all your steel needs, purlin, tubing, roofing, sheet metal, steel builds, any accessories that you could need. It's all there. It's all manufactured on site. There's no middlemen jacking up the price of the back end, no national companies taking advantage of you because you don't have a local option. You're not just another name on an order form. You're not dealing with answering machine deals. No, you're dealing with human beings with the best prices that make their own steel. Okay, so you can go to Gonzalez, you can go see them, you can see the ground, see the machines, you can touch the steel builds before you buy all the product. Community Steel Company, communitysteelco.com.
Yeah, go to the website. T-Bob mentioned Gonzales, Louisiana. They've been open for almost 2 hours, waiting on you, wanting you to come in so they could help you. That's why they open up so early. That's why they want you to come see the team, because they want to make sure that all of your needs are met. Go to the website, communitysteelco.com. Top right corner of the website tells you exactly where they're located in Gonzales, Louisiana. When you click on the icon there, always give them a call as well if you can't get to Gonzales today at 225-647-2020.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer.
Welcome back to Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome back. OTB. Wrapping up hour number 2 here on the program. Jake, playoff frauds. I've been compiling a list. I got LSU, FSU, Virginia Tech, and Clemson on there right now, which admittedly Clemson might be a bit early because, well, I think they're kind of championship frauds. Their schedule is incredibly easy to make the playoffs. If you look at the rest of the schedule, like Clemson could very well end up being 11-1. So maybe that's a bad call. But I got LSU, FSU, Virginia Tech, Clemson. I got Notre Dame. I got Kansas. I got Iowa. Is there anybody that you would add to the fraud list?
Who? That's already like fraud, like fully like Florida State's
already
fraudulent.
fully fraud. Okay, on Fraud Watch, already fully on Fraud Watch. We have Oregon, Penn State, Oklahoma State, and I've got Utah conditionally. If Utah has Cam Rising, they're great.
Yeah.
If Utah does not have Cam Rising, they're absolutely fraudulent, which, by the way, in what must be giving Utes fans PTSD, Kyle Whittingham's out here being very he's really obfuscating whether or not Rising, like what the actual extent of the hand injury is.
Yeah. Did you put like SMU, like they're on the list, they're done, right?
I guess
Because I mean they had some juice.
Yeah, you're right. They had a little juice. Absolutely. I mean, they're cooked. They're done. Strike
Michigan.
Yep. Put them. Yep. Frauds. You're right.
Yeah.
Out.
Michigan's frauds.
Get them out of here. Get them out of here.
Gosh. Oklahoma.
Get him out of here. I don't even need him to lose yet. Completely fraudulent. Maybe didn't expect to be, but either way, get the hell out of here. No playoffs for you, Oklahoma. I hope nothing.
I heard you say Kansas. Did you say Kansas State?
I did not say Kansas State.
Where do you have them? Still there?
They're still alive. I guess we could put them on the watch list if we wanted to.
Yeah.
But I think Tulane's good. I think that was pretty impressive the way they battled back and won that game. They managed to hold. We'll learn a lot about Kansas State this weekend and their ranked battle with Arizona, of course. I did choose the Cats yesterday, which, obviously.
Well, they're both the Cats.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're both the Wildcats. That's right.
Mhm.
So who's going to eat them? I guess it depends on how many immigrants are going to the game as to where I land on this one or the danger for both teams. No, but what I chose Arizona to win. We'll see. So I guess I don't really believe in Kansas State. Oklahoma, nothing would make me happier than Tulane going to Norman and ruining Oklahoma fans' psyche this weekend. And it's not like I have any real animus towards Oklahoma, but look, people love to watch me like a dancing monkey when LSU loses and watch me melt like a clown. Well, guess what? I like to watch it too. And so I would love nothing more than for a bunch of mad Sooner fans to be yelling about Brent Venables and we suck and Jackson Arnold and and then of course Tulane winning as well would be awesome.
Yeah. And which it could happen. If they both play like they did last week, I think it has a real opportunity of happening. So, Texas A&M, frauds.
Yeah. If again, I didn't much playoff expectation for them in the beginning, but Connor Wigman, not good enough at all.
Yeah.
I need Wigman to have a big weekend this weekend. Okay. Like, if he doesn't have a good game against Florida, I don't care that it's at Florida. If he doesn't have a good game this weekend, I am completely out on Texas A&M as even being frisky.
Yeah. If they lose to, well, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting quarterback situation there for the Gators.
Yeah. If I interested, you mean Lagway is going to take his job. Hour 3 of OTB coming up next.
Off the bench.
Hey guys, we are very excited to once again be brought to you by ITI Technical College right here in Baton Rouge. Okay, ITI Technical College for a better life. Enroll today by going to iticollege.edu. You can speak to a live admissions officer by calling 877-591-1070 or apply now at admissions@iticollege.edu. Go tour the campus right there off of Airline Highway, guys. It's a beautiful campus. It's got everything you need. It's got full scale models of the very machinery and equipment that you'll be working with. And in just 2 years, you can change your life and get a career, guys. Okay. Get a career. Forget about a job. Get a career. Get some guidance. We've been changing lives South Louisiana. It's locally owned, family owned. So you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. You teach him to fish, he eats for a lifetime. Okay. That's what we do at ITI. Go to iticollege.edu.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance, with the latest in office technology from desktop to production. Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile. on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Good morning. It's 9 a.m. here on Thursday, September 12th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect cloudy skies with a high of 86. In hour 3 of today's show, we'll have Big Deal or No Big Deal at 9 a.m. Then LSU Executive Chef Michael Johnson for our Munchies segment. And we'll close things out as we do every day with some Ask the Bench. If you missed hours 1 or 2 of the show, you can catch it in the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com. You can also follow us on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN. And watch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel. Hour number 3 of Off the Bench starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert. Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
They said I gotta come off the bench.
Now, here's Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
And what's up, y'all? Welcome back to OTB, hour number 3. Kicking off. Would you look at that, Jake? Looks like tomorrow we're going to have our guy, Brian Vincent, on tomorrow morning. You say, oh, but T-Bob, who's Brian Vincent? Hello. ULM Warhawk head football coach, 2-0. Fresh off beating the brakes off of
Trent Dilfer and UAB.
And UAB, yeah, hell yeah, bruh. Get out of here, Blazers, freaking nerds. General Booty, baby. Let's go.
Great helmets. Maybe the best helmet in college
Really
football.
Yeah, really good unis. Really good unis. So look forward to that tomorrow. Okay. It is Thursday, though, hour number 3, which means we're going to do Big Deal, No Big Deal. Then we got Munchies coming up after that. Tay-Tay's NFL Story of the Day. Right now, though, let's dive in to some Big Deal or No Big Deal.
Big deal. Ain't no big deal.
Big deal. No big deal. Big deal.
No big deal.
No big deal.
No big deal.
All right, Jake. Did you see what happened to our boy Shannon Sharp, Uncle Shay Shay?
I did. I don't know if it happened to him or he just did it.
Yes, that's what I mean. He did not get hacked.
Literally.
He tried to claim he got hacked. As Shannon Sharp accidentally went live on Instagram while having a very intimate moment with a lady friend. Wasn't visual, just audio. Big deal or no big deal? Shannon getting caught banging on the gram.
I mean, it's a big deal. Paul Pierce had a live event on his social media.
I want to talk about Paul Pierce in a minute, but yes, continue.
And he got let go, if I'm not mistaken, right? Didn't he, because of that? So, I mean,
he did. I mean, the difference therein is Paul Pierce really just wilded out of nowhere. He purposefully went live, was filming himself live with strippers smoking blunts as he was one of the premier ESPN talking heads. That said, Shannon Sharp is a bigger deal to ESPN than he was to Pierce, right? They've kind of tagged him in the air. Apparently, they spent a lot of money taking him from Fox. So look, Shannon Sharp means everything to a lot of people. He is everything to Cowherd in the volume.
Yeah.
Like he is honestly one of the reasons why Snaps does not get renewed by the volume. Because he comes
so do we got beef with Shannon?
No. Because I think Shannon and Ocho Cinco are awesome together.
All right.
I think Nightcap's fantastic.
You let me know.
They talk about eating booty. They're just like me, Not that I've ever done that, but I like to talk about it. But Shannon, but I do believe that, look, the volume realized, wait, why are we paying people and trying to build something where if we just spend a lot more money up front, we just get guaranteed massive numbers immediately out the gate. Club Shay Shay breaks the internet consistently. So while this is all very funny and it's embarrassing for him personally, and I don't want this would suck to happen to anybody, it is no big deal because he is so big as to be a bit untouchable here. This ain't Paul Pierce. And it was
too big to fail?
He is a bit too big to fail. According to the video, though, not too big to wail.
Yeah.
Can
know
we
what?
Play the audio? No.
Hey, there wasn't a visual. Like sometimes when you go visual, like that's where you get into real trouble. This is just some audio.
I can think of a million ways this could have been worse. I mean, there are the ways that this could have been worse are near endless. So shout out Shay Shay, no big deal in the end.
Big deal or no big deal. Marvin Harrison Jr., right, number 4 overall pick, only had 1 catch for 4 yards on 3 targets in his NFL debut. And just kind of reading some comments, some quotes from Marvin Harrison himself and also Kyler Murray, it doesn't seem like it's already, going in the right direction there in Arizona.
What did Kyler say? I didn't see.
Well, they're just talking about being frustrated about that's not how I thought it was going to go. This is Harrison. Like I thought it was going to be a lot different than that. And it's just kind of back and forth. I'm trying to find the exact quote that we had there. But either way, like we kind of know that in Arizona, like Kyler Murray, it's just,
I'm going to say no big deal simply because I'm giving all the rookies grace. I'm giving Bo Nix grace here, even though I still don't really believe in Bo Nix's ceiling. I'm giving Caleb Williams grace here, even though the Bears had no business winning that game. I'll give Marvin Harrison Jr. some grace here, even though, I mean, to your point, Jake, and I know that you feel passionate about this because you banged this drum so much last year. I mean, Malik Neighbors is out here putting up stats with Daniel freaking Jones. QB 31 of 32 in the league. It might be 32. I don't know. I'm just trying to be somewhat.
Who's 32 if he's not?
I don't know. I was trying to find out. I don't know. Oh, God. It's a good question, actually. I mean, Caleb, maybe.
Bryce Young?
Bryce Young. Yeah, there we go. Yes. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Bryce Young and Daniel Jones. Yes. At least Daniel Jones is big and can run.
Bryce Young is right now none of those things. He's not big. He can't run or throw.
That guy's down bad, dude.
Yeah.
Down bad.
God, that might be one of the biggest misses of a lot of us ever.
Yeah. He was so good in college.
So
just
good.
So composed. Okay. Big deal or no big deal? What we talked about earlier, Kirk Cousins' Achilles.
I think it's a big deal. I think going back and watching the end zone copy, like you mentioned, hearing some of the numbers and analytics that you gave out. I'm not a big fan of throwing just numbers and analytics for every issue, but I mean, those are pretty glaring. They drafted a quarterback in the top 10. Did they know something even more than we thought? And sure, they can make the excuse, well, you don't get a quarterback like this very often. Okay, but you took him in the top 10 when you just signed a massive free agent. Maybe they knew something. Maybe they weren't fully confident that he was going to be back. It feels like it's a massive, massive deal because Kirk Cousins was one of the reasons why a lot of people thought Falcons NFC South champs.
I would say it's a massive deal because the timing of it. Okay, so they signed Cousins in March, draft in April. All of a sudden, when they sign him and they start to get team work, like, oh, actually, this maybe isn't as healed as we thought. Then they go Penix. And then you come out this game, and I mean, the entire offense, Jake. It's funny, when I first saw the thing about all the shotgun plays and, 0% runs out of shotgun, 81% runs out of pistol, I'm like, oh my God, their OC still sucks. They got rid of Alex Smith. They still suck. But then I'm like, oh, wait, no, it's not that. This is them trying to craft an offense around a physical limitation.
Yeah.
And that's a bad place to be.
Yeah.
So I think it's a big deal for Falcons fans and because that schedule. How about this? To go back to rookies real quick, you know who doesn't need a rookie free pass? Taliesin Fuanga. Go watch. I just saw about a minute of it before he got back here, but Brian Baldinger just dropped a film breakdown of Fuanga and his first game, and my guy's out here like mauling Derek Brown, as Baldinger says, the $100 million man. The Saints look like they got a winner at left tackle. Arian Williams says Frank Wright wanted Stroud. Always remember. Oof. Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Brother.
And McCown. Yeah, they both wanted Stroud.
Even though I wonder, is CJ Stroud still CJ Stroud if he's in Carolina? He's better than Bryce Young, I think, without a doubt. But does he become the phenom with the weapons and the setup and the competency that he now has in Houston?
I mean, maybe not to this point, to that extent, but he's much better than what we've seen. It looks like Bryce Young won a contest to play a Panther for a day out there on the field. Like
it's a little Make-A-Wish.
I was trying not to say Make-A-Wish, but that's what it feels like. He won a contest. He plays at a much lower level, and they give him a chance to play with the big boys. And I'm not even necessarily talking about his size. I'm just talking about the play. When he catches the football from the center, it looks like he is just scanning the field to see who's open and not reading through his progressions. It's bad.
He has the concepts of a plan. He doesn't know that he has the concepts of a plan.
I don't know. I don't even know if he has that right now, which is wild because he was so poised and in the biggest moments that's when he was at his best in college. But big deal or no big deal? 4 ex-Michigan players, including former quarterback Denard Robinson and receiver Braylon Edwards, have filed a class action lawsuit against the NCAA and the Big Ten Network, seeking more than $50 million for being wrongfully and unlawfully denied the opportunity to earn money off their name, image, and likeness.
I hope this is a big deal. Because if it is, how far do we keep going back, guys? Let's crank it back.
As I say, Braylon Edwards is like my time. Can I get on?
That's what I'm saying. Denard Robinson's right after me, right? Wasn't he like NCAA 14 cover maybe or 11, 12 or something?
He was 14. He was the last one before the new game. Yeah.
And we already talked about how the 16 cutoff was kind of arbitrary, and that was already a slam dunk win. So I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I have no idea if it's a big deal or not. I hope it's a big deal because that may result in us getting paid, which would be awesome.
Should we sue the NCAA and the SEC network?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe then they'll finally give me a shot. I'll be like, hey, guys, I'll drop the lawsuit, okay?
Yeah.
Give me like an 11:30 p.m. television show, and I'll drop the lawsuit.
You want it after dark, huh?
Yeah, give me an after dark shot, baby. Big deal or no big deal? Dylan Raiola cosplaying Cat Patrick Mahomes. I keep seeing people hating on him because he's even doing like the jump thing before the game. Big deal or no big deal?
It's kind of weird that he's gone all in. I'm okay like trying to replicate what he's done. Maybe it's a step too far for some people. I can kind of see it. and I did like Patrick Mahomes' quote. He's like, that just tells me I'm getting old when people like have grown up and watched me play and trying to emulate their game after me. I'm okay with some of it. I'm actually okay with most of it. It does maybe feel like one step too far, but I'm not going to get mad at it. I'm certainly not going to blow up on social media like some of these people are. Like, dude, he's a baller. Let him go be a baller. If he was a nad, then that's a non-athletic dude. Then that
Sounds
would
aggressive.
I know.
It's like when Steve Smith says "jag" when he was calling
just a
old
guy
boy from Denver. Yeah.
Wait, y'all didn't use the term nad growing up,
I've never heard nad before.
It's like, he's a nad. It's like, non-athletic dude. So, but if he was that, then it'd be a bigger deal. Like, I'd be like, yeah, dude, you're not Mahomes, and he's not, but he's damn good, and he's only going to get better. So, like, whatever.
I love Dylan Raiola doing this, dude. I love Dylan Raiola doing this. I think it is so cool. I think it makes me feel old, though, because it means that Mahomes, and honestly, Mahomes said this yesterday. I didn't realize this. I just came across this quote like 30 seconds ago, but it's wild that Mahomes has now been in the league long enough to where a young kid could have grown up idolizing him.
Yeah.
And, wanted to model his game. Like how many people I used to, as a little kid, I used to talk to the basketball when I was shooting free throws because Karl Malone did it. Right.
Yep.
Like I would, everybody has examples. Like Mahomes himself says, it's cool. Honestly, I was that guy, grew up watching players. I loved A-Rod, played shortstop, but try to make plays just like him. It helped me become the athlete I am.
I wasn't ready for you to do that.
It's just telling me I'm getting a little old. So yeah, I think it's really cool, dude. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, if he keeps winning games, he can kind of do whatever he wants because Nebraska's been starving for a quarterback like him for a very, very long time. So I'm kind of right there with you. Big deal or no big deal? Auburn quarterback Peyton Thorne has gotten Venmo requests from bettors who lost money on the Auburn Tigers after losing to Cal, and he said they haven't stopped. They got his Venmo name, and they are sending request after request trying to get their money back. Big deal or no big deal? That's where we're at right now.
It's almost like a big deal because gambling in college football, I mean, that's kind of a sign of the times, but no big deal because here in the year 2024, no rules matter. Everything's changed. And so we're all just a deplorable bunch of, we got half a foot in hell already. So of course people are sitting, but I need to send him a Venmo request because he sunk the parlay. Freaking loser. I'm just kidding. That said,
mine didn't hit either because of double overtime. I had the under. I had the under in Duke Northwestern, and it was firmly under. They scored 3 touchdowns in double overtime to barely get over. Yeah. That should, by the way, the total for a game, certainly in college when you just do the whole 2-point thing eventually, the total should stop. At the end of regulation.
No,
yes, it wholeheartedly should.
Because when you bet the over, there's no better feeling in the world than hitting an overtime over. Yes,
or maybe you should stop when you get to the 2-point conversion deal where you're just going back and forth.
Knowing that you always have the hope of overtime when you're begging for an over is such a good feeling. I hope it never stops.
No, when I need the under, I need to stop.
I feel you. That's a bad beat. God, the Hugh Freeze era at Auburn's a disaster thus far.
I have no idea what to think of it. Yep. No, like it's bad for sure, but like they should have beat Alabama last year after losing to New Mexico State at home.
Hugh. All right. When we get back, Munchies, Chef Michael Johnson, keep it locked here on OTB.
Off the bench.
Hey guys, each and every day here on Off the Bench, we're so proud to be brought to you by Tommy's Windows, Doors, and Siding. That's GEAUXTommys.com, GEAUXTommys.com. Go to Tommy's today for, again, all your windows, doors, and siding. Hopefully you didn't have any damaged windows, doors, or siding, but if you did, you need repairs, you need something brand new, get in touch with Tommy and the team today. Have them come out to your home, give you that free professional estimate, make them one of the bids on your project, and then when you deal with them, let them sell you, right? Let them show you why they're the correct people for the job. GoTommies.com. It's GEAUXTommies.com. Head over there today, guys. You need hardy plank, vinyl siding, wood or vinyl windows, any type of door. Tommy's is the answer. Again, any storm damage, please get in touch with them today. That's GEAUXTommies.com, GEAUXTommies.com.
There's nothing chill about a hot, sweaty line. Unless you add mountain cold refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish built. Parish built. Parish built. From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com. Oh, by the way, we do shutters too.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating
Chef, what up,
12
dude?
beautiful
Hey,
parks
guys, so they
across
may
the
be able to hear us
parish.
during commercial
A
break.
family-sized
Chill out,
water
and I'll bring
park,
us back in.
miles
Yep.
and miles
Welcome,
of
Joe.
trails,
Welcome. You
and
look
parks
beautiful.
just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local.
Welcome back to Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN, doing it remotely today. Got out of town for the storm. Jake's at home right now. Alondra Taylor in the studio. And we're joined by our favorite guy. We do it every single week here on Thursday. It's time for some Munchies. Real quick, before we get into it, guys, I do want to remind you about the Queen of Baton Rouge. The Queen is your home for football this fall. You're in a great place where you can go play all the casino games you want while enjoying an excellent and brand new DraftKings Sportsbook with huge seating, table, drinks, the 1770 bar and restaurant right there for all your food needs. We got Shaq's Big Chicken through. Look, the Queen's been remade top to bottom, guys. Very convenient, very fun place to watch football. We'll be out there for some of the Saints primetime games. So again, the Queen of Baton Rouge is your home for this football season. Chef Johnson, what's up, man? You look beautiful today. How we feeling?
I'm good, man. Yeah.
Chef, okay, can the people see? Okay, so if you're watching on YouTube, we have a live feed of Chef here. You want to do a little spin? Can you show us the nutrition center for people that have maybe never seen it before? Check this out, guys. When we talk to Chef is operating with every single day here. I'm sorry, you don't have to walk it around. You can just spin it if you want, and then, sit back down. You look great.
Making Chef do work.
I know. I feel bad, but look
So
at
my
that,
guys prepping. Yeah.
Just elite. Look at that. That's how your LSU athletes get fed. Okay.
Look at this. This is awesome. Yeah. Can you see that?
Oh, whoa! Look at that, dude. The new is
Yeah.
that like floating lights right there?
It's just like a 3-dimensional LSU.
Like acrylic?
Yeah.
Whoa, dude.
And they're
that's
like
sick.
they're layered in there. Yeah.
Hell yeah. There you go, baby. Chef Michael Johnson. That's the man behind the magic right there. And that is the room behind the magic. All right, Chef, let's dive into some of these questions. And we're going to start out hot here. If you had to cook domestic house cat,
oh man,
how would you cook it?
Oh my God.
Oh man, that's yeah. I probably would slow and low. You know, cats seem like they might be a little bit tough. So I probably would cook it slow and low.
Hey, good call on the seem like, Chef. You know, we were trying to trying to trap you. Good job on the seem like.
Hashtag Munchies. What's the LSU schedule for the Storm with dining or kids on campus? Did Chef even go home?
Yeah. So yesterday was a really intense day. We opened up at 6 a.m. for football. We fed football breakfast.
Yeah.
We didn't close doors until almost 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. So what we did was we fed football, and then all Olympic sports came through in between then and when football got out after practice at like 11:40. And instead of us, serving one meal in that time period, we served football a meal. Then we served basically 3 meals to Olympic sports. So we served them breakfast. They were allowed to take a hot lunch to go, and then we had meal prep for dinner done that we did the night before. So we literally fed, 400 athletes times 3, like 1,200 meals there. Football had another, there's another 110, 100. Well, with staff, we actually fed staff yesterday too. So staff ate twice. So, if there's 200 people with that, I mean, realistically, we served upwards of 1,500 meals in about 5 hours yesterday.
1,500 meals, Chef?
Pretty close to. I mean, because football came back in after practice and was able to eat and take a meal to go with them as well. So,
Does that feel? How does that feel in comparison to the 50,000 burgers you had to cook for Amazon that time?
Have you ever ridden a horse before? Amazon, Amazon, I got little blinky spots in my left eye. That's how much stress that was. 1,500 was it's a feasible deal. And honestly, we got in there. We didn't have full staff. We had enough to, keep the back kitchen running and free the service line. And myself and the sous chefs were up throwing down. And, when your mind functions well in chaos, it's almost fun, and you kind of live for those moments, honestly. So we were enjoying ourselves, man. To go home from that and then sit on the porch and wait for the storm. It was chaos, and then go home and relax. And the storm was. I didn't find it stressful at all. You know what I mean? Like it.
Seems like it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Back on schedule today, though, for everybody.
Well, no breakfast today. They pushed breakfast out to 10:30, so we're kind of having a brunch today.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure it's really about getting the employees home safe and getting the employees in safe so that they're not at risk. We are what they call an essential operation. So we have an obligation to make sure that all the parents out there are feeling confident about their children being fed. Right. So, we sent them enough food. We sent them home with enough food yesterday to have 3 meals or having sufficed 3 meals and then, come back today for a brunch.
Yep.
So,
Bro, that's wild, Chef. Hashtag Munchies. Scott wants to know, I have 4 large split breastbone in chicken breasts marinating.
Oof.
How would Chef recommend I cook them this evening?
I got to very least put a nice sear on the outside of them. And I'm assuming there's probably some skin on there too. I like to brown the skin so that it crisps up a little bit. and then roast it, 325. Not as high as most people go. A lot of people cook straight at 350, and I practice what I call finesse cooking. I turn it down a little bit, let it go a little slower, a little bit lower, and because when you have high, hot, intense heat, it draws the moisture out of the protein, right? So when you cook it just a little bit slower, a little bit lower, you're still getting the browning action from the dry heat, but you're not drawing the moisture out of the protein as quickly, and it provides for a more tender cut of meat. And so, breast meat is a lean cut of meat, and so slowing it down just a little bit lends to the moisture content being retained and the texture of it being nice and tender.
Chef, this is one, maybe you got to be a little careful answering this. #Munchies. How do I get my wife interested in cooking?
That's a good question, man. I think that you do that by leading, right? Like I associate it. My significant other's name is Gina, and she loves when I cook. But I also like to cook with her, right? And so
yeah.
I encourage her, like she gets nervous cooking for me.
I would too, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. We spend time together in the kitchen, and in doing so, we talk about cooking, we talk about food, there's playful banter, but it also, I think, gives her confidence more so in realizing, that, it's cooking is something, it's a gift, it's giving part of yourself to somebody else. And when you convince somebody else of that, I think that they, naturally want to pick up that trait, and especially with loved ones, a spouse, you know what I mean? Like, I cook for my children all the time, and they know that that's a sign for me saying I love you. And I think that, using that kind of a conversation with your spouse is an easy win on to convince them to cook.
Has very romantic. Look at this, a romantic at heart. Our guy, Chef Johnson.
We always knew
Munchies. I made pastelaia last night right before the power went on 30. It's set in the pot on the stove overnight. Can I still eat it?
No, absolutely not.
No, for real?
Yes, no, man.
I think I ate something bad yesterday. I had a battle.
It probably won't kill you. It'll probably just give you a bad gas. But man, that's, here's the thing is if it's still in the pot in a big mass like this, the center of that mass is not cooling down quickly. If it was laid out flat on a pan to where it's like an inch thick or less, it's probably going to cool down quicker. But still, that's, foodborne bacteria thrive in 80 degrees. Bacteria are just, right? They like warm, oxygen-rich, like environments, and that's what you've just done. Is you've created, like a breeding ground for bacteria, basically. And so, I can't tell you how many times it's happened with me with a bowl of gumbo, with a pot of gumbo, or you know what I mean. And I just, like if something that will signify is it'll start bubbling, right? Like you'll see bubbles in it, and that's not good. Your food shouldn't bubble.
If you did eat the pastelaia, call Central Plumbing today. Sounds like so.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of people too. They don't realize, they think that pasta and rice are safe to eat because cooling down. And there's people that have died from eating pasta and rice. Like, if it's not cooled properly, it has a considerable amount of risk to it that people have died from eating improperly chilled rice and pasta. Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Hashtag.
Yeah.
Hashtag. That's good to know. Valuable information.
Yeah, really.
Hashtag Munchies.
Because he'll eat anything.
Well, I've played that game of chicken so many times, right? Like, do I want to throw out this gumbo that I worked so hard on, but then got too lazy because I had too much whiskey and forgot to put it in the fridge last night? Like, hashtag Munchies. Does Chef have a generator to save his freezer/fridge, or is it a cook everything scenario when the power goes out?
So my brother gave me a generator a couple of years ago that was kind of left over from the camp, and as a Christmas gift, he had it's like an outlet on the outside of the house that connects the generator to the fuse box. And so for the first time ever, I was able to use that last night. And so I have my refrigerator, I have my deep freeze, I have the window unit in my bedroom, and I have the television and the DVD player capable. So my son and I watched DVDs last night. He didn't know what a DVD was.
DVDs, let's
DVD.
go.
You have something that will still play it. That's impressive.
What'd you watch? What DVDs we talking?
So we started off, we were going to watch Pulp Fiction, but we ended up watching Natural Born Killers, actually.
Oh my God, dude!
With
I
Woody?
love Natural Born Killers. That was my senior quote in high school. Love beats the demon.
Yeah,
That movie was wild. I saw it way too young.
Yeah.
Great movie, though.
He's 14, and he was like, Dad, I can't keep up with this movie. It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's out there. Nice choices though. Pulp Fiction, Natural Born Killers, raising him the right way.
Yeah.
Hashtag Munchies. I think you're gonna love this, Chef. Are you a Havarti guy or a smoked Gouda or both?
Both, absolutely, man. You know, there are very few types of cheeses that I don't like. You know, like I'm a cheese guy, and you know, I try to keep dairy out of my life as much as possible. I work for a guy that would tell you that, you know, cow's milk is for calves and babies, and there's truth behind that. You know,
Well, I'm in trouble then.
Goat cheese is better for you, and goat cheese too. Like I've taken a turn from cow's milk to goat products, much better. Even buffalo is a little bit better, but man, cheese is if the world, I don't know if I could go on. If
I don't want to live in a world without
No.
cheese.
Yeah.
I do. So, like, when you're shredding cheese, like, you don't just buy shredded cheese. Do you go off the block?
It depends on what it is, right? So we were
Yeah.
pizza cheese, yes. You know, like shredded cheddar. It just depends on, man.
Because you got to be careful. I mean, isn't some shredded cheese just like got stuff in it to keep it separated that's just not great?
I saw something online about this the other day. Yeah, how true is this?
I mean, we buy block and just do it ourselves.
We actually have found a pizza cheese that does not have that in it. The shelf life is much shorter on it.
Yeah.
And you know, like it's an anti-caking agent and a preservative, and you got to read your labels, man. If there's
Right.
something there that you can't speak, that you can't, you know, like you can't enunciate, it's not good for you. Not by general, you know, like in general capacity. And Pete, you know, like shredded cheese absolutely does. Most of it does. You need to read your labels. That's why we buy whole
Yeah.
cheese and shred it ourselves.
Us too.
Yeah.
Hashtag Munchies. I'm going to Arizona today. What type of cuisine should I be trying?
Well, you're basically going to an air fryer, so you can take some chicken wings with you.
Some eggs.
Yeah, you can get some pretty good Mexican style food out there. There's a heavy like Mexican atmosphere out there. I don't know, that Southwest, you know, Southwest is where you're going, man. And there's some good barbecue out there too, man. You know, you can get that kind of Southwest style barbecue. It's pretty good, but Southwest in a general sense, like I don't go to Arizona to eat poke. You know what I mean? Like when in Rome, you do it right. So yeah.
All right, Chef Michael Johnson. He's the man. Insane day yesterday, cooking hundreds upon hundreds of meals to keep the students fed, taking care of food to bring home, everything else. The massive operation. He is the man at the head of it. Chef, thank you so much for every single week, and I hope you have an excellent morning.
Take care, guys.
There
See
he
you,
is, Chef Michael Johnson, live from the LSU Nutrition Center. All right, when we get back, we're going to let Tay do his NFL story of the day. I'll plan the timing better today. I won't interrupt the middle of the story. More Off the Bench coming up next.
Off the Bench.
Go to All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com, All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com. That's the website. And, All-Star Toyota is the place. It's right there off of Airline and Goodwood. And if your family needs a new vehicle, maybe you want a Toyota certified used vehicle where you still get that excellent Toyota warranty, but you get a better price on it. Maybe you want to rent anything. You got damage in the storm. You need a service center, body shop, collision repair. Again, All-Star Toyota, all makes and models are welcome. Okay, so hit them up today. Get that free professional estimate. All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge, All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge.com.
Yeah, go check out what they have for you if you're looking for a truck. Multiple options, Tacoma, Tundra, multiple midsize SUVs. You got the full-size Sequoia. You got the Sienna minivan. You got multiple sedans, multiple hybrids. They have something for you to meet your needs, your family's needs, whatever those might be. Buying new, leasing, and don't forget you can rent a Toyota today as well. So if you've got a trip planned and you want to save miles on your vehicle or you just need something different than you currently own, call Miss Lisa Sessions today in that rental department. All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered.
Welcome back to Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, welcome back into Off the Bench. Excellent bump music there, Alondra. It is now time for my Tay-Tay's NFL Story of the Day.
It's time for Tay-Tay's NFL Story of the Day. Your daily dose of NFL news from Taylor Sharp.
Okay, so the Jacksonville, they lost last Sunday 20-17 to the Miami Dolphins. Their home opener is coming up this Sunday against the Cleveland Browns, and they play at Everbank Stadium. However, on Sunday, they will not be playing at Everbank Stadium, but they're not moving. It's just going to be called Trevor Bank in honor of their starting quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. So Trevor Lawrence actually has a collaboration with the stadium's naming rights sponsors, Everbank Stadium. He's participated in different financial services. He's done ads across multiple platforms, social media, television, you name it. They actually filmed ads that if you tune in and watch the Jaguars games, they'll play during commercial breaks where he's helping supervise the installation of the Trevor Bank logo at Everbank Stadium. And like, if you're at the stadium, there will be actual temporary signage that says Trevor Bank Field in the stadium instead of the normal Everbank. This was teased earlier this month. Lawrence put that it was time for a change, and he had a picture of Everbank Stadium, and a lot of people couldn't figure out what it meant. Well, this is it. So it will not be Everbank Stadium on Sunday. It will be Trevor Bank Stadium.
Jake, how about it? Trevor Lawrence. Is he actually good? I don't know. but he now has a stadium named after him, at least for a week. Clever little play on words there. Very punny story of the day from our guy Tay Tay. For real though, is Trevor Lawrence good?
Maybe. No, I don't know. He's not a top 10 quarterback, and he was supposed to be a top 5 quarterback.
Is Doug Peterson good?
Yeah, he's won a Super Bowl.
I know. No. I mean,
and he won it with Nick
now.
Foles.
I mean, right now, not has.
Yeah, no. Doug Peterson's a good coach. Like,
it just seemed like he had figured something out with Trevor there, and it just, I don't know. Like even the first half to the second half last week. First half, awesome. Second half, like I think the first half, EPA was like top 5 player in the. He was like it's crazy how badly he fell off last week.
No, it's fair, but like that was just Trevor Lawrence has got to find a way to put together a 4-quarter game, put together like a 4-game stretch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he has yet to really do that in his NFL career.
Yeah, true. This is true. We'll see. But either way,
you win a quarterback with Nick Foles. Shout out to Nick Foles. But if you win you beat the Patriots with him as your quarterback, it's going to go a long way for a long time.
From what I know about Nick, I wish it was his Instagram that accidentally went live. But it might have sounded like somebody being murdered. So I don't know. Who knows?
Okay.
All right. Coming up next on the program, we got Ask the Bench. Go ahead and get your Ask the Bench questions in the chat, guys. Ask the Bench. Coming up next, brought to you by Colker's Life Insurance with Blooming Lights, guys. Stick around.
Off the Bench.
Go to Pinnacle Exterior Construction, PECbuilt.com, PECbuilt.com. Pinnacle Exterior Construction are, they can do whatever you want to do to your backyard. Your outdoor living area, okay? You need any size or type of fence. You want to build a fully custom pool. You want to pick from some of their spec pools where you have these great options from which to kind of make it your own. You need pool maintenance. You already have a pool. You want to put in turf, pergolas, outdoor kitchens, anything. Bulkheads. It's all at Pinnacle Exterior Construction, PECbuilt.com. Go look at the website. Be blown away by the artisanship. PECbuilt.com.
Yeah, I mean, we tell you all the time. I mean, so many different options to choose from. You can be as custom as you want to be with your pool. You can pick from some
Construction and roofing.
where you can, work out. You can have a putting green, whatever.
Construction and roofing needs, I call my friend Ryan Terrio in the Parish Construction and Roofing team. I sleep good at night because I know the Parish team has my back. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs. And remember, always do business with someone you know.
Parish Built from your hometown. Parishbuilt.com.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, time to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospital, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales service and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. Never crowded, because so few have.
Josie's on a vacation far away. Come around and talk it over.
Welcome back to Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome back to Off the Bench. Remember, Off the Bench brought to you by Coleman Roofing and Construction, colemanroof.com. Again, guys, the great hope here is that nobody suffered any damage during last night's storm. But if you did, and if it's your house or it's your place of business, commercial or residential, you want to go to Coleman Roofing and Construction. Like I said, thankfully, I don't believe I've read about any loss of life. Multiple instances of trees falling on homes. If that happened to you, you call Coleman, and it's going to be your one-stop shop. Okay, not only will they rebuild, the actual interior, drywall, everything else, then they fix the roof. So if you got a hole in the roof, you got water damage, they'll come in, they'll fix the water damage inside, then fix a hole in your roof. They are by the phones. They are ready to go anywhere in the state of Louisiana, anywhere in the Gulf South region. And go to colemanroof.com. That's Coleman Roof and Construction, colemanroof.com. As Jake now has the Mike Allstop background. Yes. Paying homage to the greats that came before us. Ask the Bench, brought to you by Cold Curse Light Visit Art Seltzer. Blue Moon Lights, guys, such a sweet. How are you celebrating Sydney Sweeney's 27th birthday? I'm going to do snaps at noon, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm going to work.
And drive these 3 kids home from Toledo Bend and not have to sleep in the bed with both my. They're cute. They're adorable. They're so annoying sleeping. I mean, just kick. Ugh.
I can't think of the last time we didn't have it like somewhere, in the bed. Our dog, 2 dogs.
If you had to eat a cat or a dog, be your number 1 draft pick.
There's too many videos we could use here. Dogs, come on.
Dogs are too. I wasn't even thinking sexual. I'm actually taking this very seriously. Dogs are a bit too for me, like Chef said. Like, I don't know there's a dog breed out there when I could maybe get behind eating like an overly fat cat. And I love cats. But at the end of the day, it's more acceptable to eat a cat than a dog. In fact, one of my favorite Chinese places my grandpa used to take me down the bayou, not exaggeration, they got in trouble for a cat one time. So who knows? I might have already eaten it, but it was probably slathered in sesame sauce. And delicious. Ask the Bench.
We're from Louisiana. Like there's things that, we eat here that other people, like people probably think like frog legs is incredibly weird. I love frog legs.
Dirty confession. I've still never had frog legs. I'm 36 years old. Isn't that crazy? I know. Which Michelle was it? Michelle Beadle getting out ahead of this and tweeting it wasn't me. Talking about with Shannon. I think it was Michelle Monaghan, famous actress from stuff.
A lot of stuff. She's in Bad Monkey right now with Vince Vaughn on Apple, and it's great.
Hey now, Bad Monkey sounds kinky.
It's a great show. Vince Vaughn's hilarious in it.
Ask the Bench. Chapel Roan voted best new artist of the week. Validate all of T-Bob's recommendations. Guys, look.
So it doesn't validate T-Bob's music taste at all from what we learned just now because they just went off. It's fine, though. I don't know what happened to them.
We're having internet issues here, too.
We're going to hold it down for the next 2 minutes.
YouTube is blinking in and out. Alondra, ask the Bench. Yeah. This one's for you.
Mm-hmm.
Should the loser of the Saints-Cowboys game between me and T-Bob be heckled relentlessly Monday morning for a segment?
Like you heckle each other? Like if some
like if the Cowboys win, I heckle him. If the heckles me, more than normal.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's got to be some heckling going down. Like there has to be.
Look,
so I don't know.
I don't want to spoil things for everyone, but there might be Cowboy head enter our studio tomorrow. There's a chance that happens.
I remember last time, I think it was like the first show I did, I was playing clown music under you anytime you talked about the Cowboys. So if you talk about the Cowboys, just know some clown music might be headed your way.
Look,
I don't have a UT sweatshirt on right now. It really just says Texas. It's not a UT sweatshirt.
If there's a punishment, I'll do it. We had to come up in here dressed like Napoleon Dynamite, which Jeff Bezos, that's another story. It took 2 weeks for the outfit to come in. Should have taken 2 days, but no, we'll do it. Here's an Ask the Bench. Ask the Bench on Saturday.
Yes.
I'm going to say yeah, but I don't feel good about this game. We got about a minute.
Sorry, I'm trying to get T-Bob to get on the phone so that he can do this live read. Because I'm not going to talk about Goodwood.
I mean, T-Bob's the perfect person to do that. All right, guys, look, they're going to be back in studio tomorrow. It has been a crazy few days. We hope everyone stayed safe out there during this Hurricane Francine. I know that my sister or my parents, none of us lost power. We were very fortunate. I know a lot of people in the Baton Rouge area did. I almost tripped about 3 times in this building this morning because we did not have power. We'd basically been running on generator to power the studio all morning long. We've had so many internet issues all show long. But Jake, T-Bob, they will both be back in studio tomorrow morning. T-Bob heading home from Toledo Bend. And Jake, he was just spending time with the family. You got to make sure they're safe during these storms as well. We are trying to get T-Bone to see if we're going to do this live read. Is it going to happen? Probably not, because rarely answers his phone, but that's pretty much going to do it here for a Thursday edition of Off the Bench. We'll be back, everyone in studio tomorrow, same time, same place. So tune in. It is a Football Friday edition of Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? T-Bob here, proud to be partnered with a brand new, and that is Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, okay? Goodwood.com is the website, yourgoodwood.com. To maximize, okay? Don't walk around and not feel confident because you're suffering from ED, because you're suffering from a low T, because you feel older than you used to. At Goodwood, these are all treatable issues. Let's not be embarrassments. Live our life without fear. Let's empower ourselves by going to yourgoodwood.com. It is Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, yourgoodwood.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Care. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating